More of a love album.
Yeah.
What up? What up?
What's happening?
What up, fam? What's good? Welcome to
What's
another
cracking,
week.
man?
Sorry for the delay. We apologize for the delay, little technical difficulties with certain stuff. Did want to have some great videos for y'all tonight. Only a few of them came through, so I'm kind of like a little down about that because I really wanted y'all to see some of these really dope videos. You guys know I always grab these videos according to our topic. So tonight, for all you guys that don't know that's tuning in, tonight we're going to be discussing about handling business. Why is it so important for us to handle business? And one of the things that I did was on the flyer that I posted was a picture of this, right? So any of y'all fellas know where this is from?
No, I
Y'all
don't.
know where this is from?
No, I've never seen it.
What about BMF? But that looks a little before them.
You said it's a little
Hmm.
before them.
Has kind of
Yeah,
like a 80s, 90s feel to it,
it's got like a what feel to it?
like an 80s and 90s feel to it in terms of the picture.
Yes, yes. So basically, this is the movie. I don't know if you guys remember the movie Strictly Business. Y'all remember Strictly Business? The movie
I
with
do remember that.
Samuel L.
Never,
Jackson. Uh, it
yeah, I never
had
saw, but I remember.
I
oh,
remember
you
it, but
never
I don't
saw it?
think I saw
Oh,
it either.
okay. So it had
Nah.
Samuel
Yeah,
L.
I ain't seen
Jackson, Tommy Davidson, and another lead black dude, and Holly Berry. And they were all part of this phenomenal movie. I love this movie, Strictly Business. Really dope movie. It talked about black men in corporate America, black men getting their resources together, making powerful moves on camera, also giving a black man an opportunity that, once you give certain black men an opportunity, they can flip that opportunity and become exactly who you think they would be. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened in Tommy Davidson's character. He went from the mailroom to being a real estate, what you call a commercial property real estate agent. And it was a dope movie. So in this movie, this scene right here is basically the scene where these brothers right here were called the Harlem Brothers. So I don't want to give away too much of the movie. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's called Strictly Business. But what makes this so significant is that in the movie, Tommy Davidson was under the wing of this black guy here, the one that has his back facing towards us. His
it.
name is
Mm-hmm.
Tinsdale. So he was with
Mm.
real estate firm, and he partnered with two other white guys, and he was
Name is
trying to get the
Tinsdale. Is that what you said?
partnership. Yeah, Wayman Tisdale. So he
Okay.
was trying to get the partnership with the company, and they said they had broken down to him and said, "Hey, you could get partnership with our company if you sealed this deal." So the deal was a corporate building. It was one of the most priciest corporate buildings. I think it was like one of the tower buildings, right? That was vacant, and they wanted to sell it, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like X amount of millions of dollars for it. And they were trying to get a buyer for it, and they had a buyer for it. It was a Chinese. It was a bunch of Chinese investors that wanted to buy it. But like I said, this guy Wayman Tinsdale, which is the guy who's facing us with his back, he took Tommy Davidson under his wing to try to show him, to help him to be a brother, to go from the bottom up to the top where he is. Tommy asked him for a spot. He said, "Okay, can I trust you?" So he let him do his little minor work that he couldn't get out of the way. So it was kind of like having a little helper in your real estate portfolio. So there was one incident where there was two white guys that one of them wanted to plot on Wayman because he didn't want him to sink. He didn't want him to ink this deal. So Wayman had got the Chinese investors, and Wayman had to give them the projected data and everything like that, so that they could see that their investment is going to be profitable. So in the midst of that, he gave it to Tommy Davidson, and Tommy did the errand and had to drop it off to another office by a certain time. Well, Tommy dropped off the data to the where he was supposed to drop it off to. But what happened was the other white guy, the little racist white guy that works in the company too, he got his helper to take the data. And then what he did was he brought it back to his boss. His boss then redid the data and then put it back on the desk. So now the data that the Asians had took to the meeting, they was like, they looking at the data and they like, man, this data don't add up to anything profitable. So the
Mm.
Asians pulled out of the whole deal. And then the white guy who owned the company, who was trying to partner with Wayman, he got mad with Wayman because he was like, yo, these aren't right. It's got to be a mix up. Like, what happened to the. So Wayman ended up blaming Tommy, and you'll see through the movie that him and Tommy got into an altercation about it. And he basically ripped Tommy. But during the eventually down the line, he found out what really happened, and then he brought Wayman back under his wing. So when he found out what happened, he brought Wayman under his Tommy under his wing, and he said to Tommy, he's like, "Look, if we don't have a buyer for this, then we both gonna be out of a job." So Tommy Davidson, he went and made some phone calls. He said, "Yo, I know some brothers." He said, "Man, just make sure you got all your data and everything like that. I got some brothers that's gonna come up here and handle business." So when Tommy Davidson went on the phone, he called up his brothers and he went and contacted some resourceful dudes, and they called themselves the Harlem Brothers. So Tommy called up the Harlem Brothers and said, "Hey, man, there's a building for sale. You're going to make tons of money in the return and everything like that." So, he was like, "All right, sit us all down and let's see." So when the white guy saw all these black brothers come up with the suits, and you see them with the hats and everything, and everybody started getting spooked, like, damn, they ain't see no brothers putting in work like that, coming up there handling business. So they all sat down in the room, they were going through the notes, they were going through the data and everything like that. And then it got real quiet. And then all of a sudden they was like, "Yes, we'll sign on the deal." And then everybody was in there happy and everybody was celebrating. And then when he found out about the two racist dudes, Wayman got them fired, because the white guy came in, the one that owns the building. He was like, "Yo, you two get the hell up out of here." You know what I'm saying? Because he found out that they tried to sabotage the whole deal itself. So, with white folks, you're not going to play with their money like that. Anything that comes with playing with their money, they're going to get rid of you. They don't care about no race, color, nothing. You don't play with their money like that. So it was pretty dope to see the Harlem Brothers come in there, brothers looking sharp. This movie was out there in the 80s, 90s era. So, that was the time where we really had a lot of representation of real black men that, that art has been lost over the years. So I really love this movie because it showed that black men can come out here and do things just like any other race of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I thought that was super dope. And like I say, the whole movie is pretty dope. We got Halle Berry in there. You'll see with Halle Berry's part. Also, the lady who plays in the movie "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker," the one that was walking away with the fake leg. I forgot her name as an actress. She plays Wayman's wife. So she ends up playing Wayman's wife that he ended up leaving for Halle Berry. But it's a real dope movie. Y'all check it out. Strictly Business. But I wanted to show you guys this picture because it exudes black excellence and handling business. And anybody who watched the movie knew exactly about why I picked this picture and why I picked this movie, because it exudes exactly what we're going to be talking about tonight, which is handling business. So we're going to talk about how handling business is so important. It's an important factor. Not only handling business, it actually affects all areas of life. So when you look at any aspect of life, if you're not out here handling business, then that aspect of your life is going to crumble or is going to control you and end up crushing you in the process. Because if you're not handling it, it's handling you. That's just basically how it goes. You either handle it or it's going to handle you. Just like when you talk about your children and you're raising children from, the adolescence age all the way up, and if you're not molding your children right, if you're not handling your children the right way, your children are going to grow up and handle you in return. So it's very important that you handle business in all aspects of life so you can get a better control, a better grip, and also control it in a way where it's in a positive effect for you and not in a crushing effect that it could have on that person as yourself. You know what I'm saying? Also, when we talk about leadership and controlling your household and leading your household, you have to know how to handle business in order for you to lead and control and make sure that everybody under your roof is heading in the right direction when it comes to handling business. Now, I'll turn it over to you guys if you guys want to elaborate more on handling business before we carry on to the next segment of handling business.
I mean, basically, man, at the end of the day, that's just what it is. That's manhood 101, handling business. You know, like
Yeah.
if you're not out here getting in front of things and creating solutions, you're not handling business. And at the end of the day, you're just not a man. That is manhood 101 right there. Men are regarded as the problem solvers. You know, we're regarded as the ones who get things done, the movers and the shakers, and so forth. We provide agendas, we delegate. It's all about handling business. Manhood, in a phrase, can be described as handling business. The end.
Mhm.
So this is an extraordinarily significant show in that regard, man, because too many of us are out here looking to others to handle our business. You know what I mean? And looking to others for solutions that we should be providing ourselves. You know, we should be the ones out there putting skin in the game. We should be the ones at the head of the pack. And a lot of times we want to kind of fall back, sit on our laurels, and allow agendas to be dictated to us. And that's really part and parcel of why we're in the predicament that we're in. Too many of us are too complacent and we're not getting out in front of things and handling business and being counted as men. And that's the long and short of it. We got to get on top of that. So, excellent topic. I'm ready. Let's get it.
Correct. So
100.
yeah, go ahead,
Manhood
Bobby.
is about like maybe said, manhood is about handling business. In this world, in this life, you can either be the hammer or you can be the nail. You can
Hmm.
either be the screw or the screwdriver.
Yeah.
Um, you got to choose. You got to pick a struggle. Men are supposed to be the hammers. Men are supposed to be the screwdrivers, and that's something that I've always believed. I've always stood on. We're supposed to be the ones dictating the pace, not having the pace dictated to us.
Hmm.
Women have the luxury, they have the option where they can choose to step up in that role and if they want to be the hammer or be the screwdriver. But for men, that's not an option. Um, and there's no respect for that. No matter what happens, even on your job, wherever you go, if you are known as a person that solves problems, makes things better, there's a different level of respect, a different level of consideration that you receive that other men do not. And I've noticed that there's been a slight twist that's happened in society lately where there's not a significant amount, but a noticeable amount of men who are looking to try to find back doors and ways to get around manhood, to get around having to take the initiative, to take the lead, to being the problem solvers, to being the nail. They want someone else to come in and be the hammer for them. They want somebody else to be the screwdriver for them, to be the pliers for them. And that exists, because every man isn't on their wave. But the problem with that is, to the victor go the spoils.
Mm.
So you can't have it both ways. If you want to essentially hand in your man card, hand in your man pass, and well, I'm going to outsource my manhood to somebody else, you can do that. The problem is you are not going to receive the same respect, the same opportunities, the same deference, the same respect that man's going to get. And I
Right.
see a lot of those same dudes taking issue with that. Well, how come he gets this? So you're saying I have to do X, Y, Z in order? My ninja, yes, yes, you do. Ain't no free lunches out here. I don't know who gave you that coupon on your birthday, but this ain't your birthday, man. It don't
Right.
work beyond that. You gotta eat what you kill. You got to
Yeah.
go out there. You got to hunt for your meals. So no matter how advanced this civilization gets, you might not be out there in the field still catching prey and cooking it, and that's how we prove our manhood and masculinity. But there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, even in this modernized, futuristic society that we're in now. And ultimately, the playing field might be different, but the rules are still the same. You eat what you kill, and whoever's doing the killing gets the biggest portions of the kill. If not, you got to get in where you fit in like everybody else,
Real talk.
and
Correct.
that's a good thing.
So
That's how it should
That's a
be.
good thing. Real
that's
talk.
a very good thing.
Separate the men from the boys.
And just to elaborate more, basically on what Bobby just stated, I want to show you a picture of what he just talked about, talking about going out there hunting and killing and getting the bigger portion of, your kill. When we look at talking about killing, in the reference of that, we can also display this, which is a picture of Buffalo Soldier, right? So if you don't know who the Buffalo Soldiers were, Buffalo Soldiers was a regime of Black African excellent warriors in the army, which were they participated in the Indian Wars. They also participated in the Johnson County War. They also Spanish Indian Revolution War. Also, they did wars on the battlefields of Cuba. Um, and they were very successful. When they did the wars out there in Cuba, they also earned about 5 extra medals. And you're talking about the time from 1989 to 1918. So I think that was a very historic time because, a lot of things occurred during that time. Also, that was the birth of the Black Wall Street. Also, um, that was the time where we had the Spanish flu was coming in right after that war ended. You had the Spanish flu where we had so much resources and we stuck together and created such unity. We took care and handled business that even when we had one of the most severe cases of flu to ever hit and wipe out a lot of people all over the nation and globally, we survived through that because we had the resources, we had the men and the women that stood behind and handled business. The men came out there handling their business, and the women, they followed the lead, and we were handling business together as a unit, as a front. What's so significant about the Buffalo Soldiers is that the iconic and legendary Bob Marley. I am from Jamaica, and one of the most popular songs from Bob Marley is Buffalo Soldier, Dreadlock Rasta. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at the lyrics of what Bob Marley was talking about, he was talking about these brothers. These brothers were very fierce. Even the part 2 of the Buffalo Soldiers going into chasing those crazy bald heads out of town, that was the second part of the Black brothers doing what they were doing and basically handling business and getting everybody up out of that paint that we needed to get that didn't mean us any good. So handling business, whenever you think about handling business, I want you guys in the reference in the back of your mind to look and remember the Buffalo Soldiers and how these elite group of African American brothers who, well, I would say foundational Black American brothers that actually stood up front and fought for their country and fought with so much excellence that they got rewarded heavily with medals, honors, and even to this day, we are talking about a good century plus later that we're talking about these brothers and the work that they have put in. And that's what handling business does. It creates a foundation of legacy that can also be, even though their presence, physical presence isn't here, their spiritual presence, their energy, and everything they stood for continues on generation to generation. And salute to these brothers. Mad props to Buffalo Soldiers for what they've done. I appreciate all the work they put in, and I appreciate all the brothers that's out here operating in that space as Buffalo Soldiers as well. Because even though these brothers fought a whole different war, we're fighting a different war ourselves. And a lot of our elite brothers are out here handling their business themselves. So I definitely wanted to show you guys that. Any you guys want to add on to the Buffalo Soldiers or anything that you guys know about that?
No, you said it all, brother. That's it. I just say respect and honor to the ancestors. They represented well.
Definitely.
But not easy to go ahead and put your body and your health and your life on the line for a side that for freedoms and liberties that you yourself and your families aren't going to be able to receive, but all the same, it just made it that much more powerful, and they were able to go out there and perform with excellence and duty and honor, and to really represent and hold it down for nobody else and just for them and who they were standing for. So big respect to that, huge respect to that.
Definitely, definitely.
Good talk.
So yeah, when we're talking about handling business, part of handling business also is to create an atmosphere where you can be able to handle business. So it's very important when you're out here handling business, your significant other, the partner that you choose, has to be on point. Your partner has to be a person that exudes a lot of positivity, a lot of energy that is in a positive way. They have to be the ones that fit into your system, that get the gears rolling perfectly, and not somebody that comes in as a monkey wrench and throws off your whole system. And part of
Agreed.
that is making sure that they're not energy vampires. We always talk about
Mhm.
energy vampires, right? So
Preach, boy.
it's very important that you don't have a significant other that is an energy vampire. An energy vampires basically exudes some of these traits that you see, having ongoing drama in their lives. We know that there's certain women that I've seen, certain women that I know that have came to me and also have they basically have came my direction and wanted to, basically shoot their shot, and I dodged it. I dodged it
Yeah.
because, having drama, I watch women and I watch and feel out how they operate. I've never dated a woman that indulges in drama. I avoid them because I know anytime that drama occurs, that brings a whole negative energy to where it really zaps out all your little bit of energy that you're exuding, and it really creates way more problems and issues that you already have. And we know that in our lifetime, we all have too many issues ourselves, so we don't need any additional issues on top of that. So the drama comes in, and that would throw you off your course because instead of you focusing with a clear mind, now you have to focus on dealing with somebody's drama, and maybe their drama might include somebody else coming into the equation and bringing extra drama. So you don't need that in your life. You need to have a clear head when you walk out that door. You need a woman that's going to massage your shoulders and help you ease up out that door. And when you come in, she has her arms open, embracing you when you come back inside that home in your fort, because that is what is going to help you not only preserve your energy, not only create a life of longevity for you, but also in the long run, um, it gives you a positive feeling that whenever the negative world is collapsing, you have some kind of security blanket or a security safety net with your woman at home. And then you
Absolutely.
can also have the extra energy to protect your woman as well. So when she's going through her things, you have enough
Mhm.
energy built up to help her in her low moments as well, and pressures that she go through on the job. Because we have this notion that black women are the most hated people on the planet. I'm not going to discredit that a lot of torture, a lot of negative things do go black women's way, but I think to be fair enough with everything, we have to understand that both of us are out here in the war zone. So I can't sit back and say your pain is worse than my pain. I need you, and I need to cover your pain. You need me, and you need to cover my pain. I think we have to look at it as a unit, and going into it as a unit force, and stop trying to be divisive and saying who's hurting more in this global system of racism, which is a global system. And a lot of people don't know what the definition of white supremacy is. It's a global system that basically hinders or doesn't promote anybody outside of the race of white. So if you don't understand that, it's going to confuse you and it's going to cause more division. And then now we're creating drama within ourselves, and we're not focused on the real agenda and the real enemy, which is outside of our household. So you got to be, it's very important that you have a person that is bringing positivity and breathing life into you versus somebody bringing drama. And that goes both ways. That's not something singled out to just men. I just want men to understand that, because a lot of men, um, we need to build our self worth, our self love, and self respect. And in doing so, we have to protect ourselves and set boundaries and healthy boundaries for ourselves in order for us to be as successful as we can be. Um, Permissive, right? So you got to understand you don't need somebody that's so pessimistic, right? So if you look at that and you have somebody that's always being a pest and being somebody that's always up in you like that, it becomes another distraction, right? So like I said, it falls under that whole drama. That's another part of it, of the drama that comes into line as well. So you don't need any type of drama. So you have to get that out of your mind. So I'm not going to elaborate on that. Having a victim mentality is very
Mm,
important, that you have a person in your corner that is accepting accountability. If they're not
right.
accepting accountability, then that means that you're going to have a lot of arguments, a lot of debates, and a lot of rift, because everything is going to be in the midst of a debate or a battle, or I feel like you're attacking me, instead of trying to sharpen each other up so we can be as sharp as we can be when we hit that door and battle everybody outside. So if you're with
Mm,
somebody that has a victim mentality, it's a weak trait, and it's a crippling trait, because now I have to sit back and coddle you in order for you to feel good. And if I'm doing that, I'm only weakening you, because now I'm sitting back co-signing a lot of the BS that you should be out here correcting. So a victim mentality is something that you definitely don't need in a mate. And definitely, if you have a mate like that, try your best to get up out of that situation if they're not
mm-hmm.
trying to change for the better. Demanding a lot of attention. When we're out here handling business, a lot of handling business comes with a lot of time. When you look at high value men, and you have men out here that women or anybody considers high value, these type of men are always consumed by time. They have to be in meetings. They have to jump on a jet and handle business somewhere else. They're always somewhere handling business outside of the realms of a household. That's why a lot of women are not suited or built to handle a man that's his career is demanded with a lot of his attention. It demands and craves a lot of his time. And if you don't have a mate that understands that, that knows how to work in that system so that everybody is operating at full function, then you're going to have somebody that's taken away and distracting you. And when they distract you, you're off your game. And once you're off your game, guess what? You're not out here handling business. You can't handle your business when you're off your game. Kobe doesn't have a great night if he's off his game. Jordan doesn't have a great night if he's off his game. Same with any superstar. You can call LeBron, the AIs, whoever it is, Tom Brady, whoever it is, if they're not on their game and they're distracted, they're not out there handling business. It's going to be one of the worst days that they face. But like most of the people that I mentioned, know how to overcome those obstacles, get their mind back in the game to handling business. When Tom Brady was going through it with his wife and it was kind of causing a distraction, he went out there and he tried to handle his business. It wasn't working. Took a break off, went back out there and said, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go out here. This is what it is. And he went back and he ended up winning a Super Bowl. So then he got his mind in the game and he ended up winning a Super Bowl, which is the ultimate championship. And that's how he was out there handling business, away from the distractions, away from the naysayers. That's what he went out there to do. You don't want somebody that brings jealousy. Jealousy breeds envy and hate. Somebody that is very jealous of you will hate you. And most times, when you have a mate that is very jealous of you, best believe that most times behind the scenes, they're plotting on killing you. We see
Mm,
that a lot. We see a lot of jealous mates into domestic violence situations, and it doesn't end well for anybody. So you make sure that you have somebody that admires you and not jealous of you. Um, and
that's
if
all.
you find somebody that's jealous of you, you need to get them out your square, your circle, because at the end of the day, jealousy can also be part of your friends as well. If your friends aren't admiring or being inspired by what you do, but they're jealous and envious and feel like they should be in your shoes, it ends up being very detrimental and heading in a very detrimental way. So always peak that and get far away from that, because that road right there always leads up into a dead end. Neediness, somebody that's always needing something, self-sufficient. The other day, I put up a post that a lot of people kind of ignored. It's funny to me how they ignored it, but I put up a post and it said, um, hyper independence. Say no to hyper independence. Did you guys see that post?
I did see that post. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
And
vibing that.
that post had tumbleweed, right? It was very, very it was very desert like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only a few people acknowledged that post, but I thought it was very alarming and eye opening that a lot of people ignored that post. So talking about needing this, hyper independence. Hyper independence is what we're going through right now. Is what um, a lot of women are out here talking about. They don't need a man. They want the independency and everything like that. So now we're in a rift of you having women that need and depend on you uh, because they're not self-sufficient enough. And then you have women that just think that they can do everything that they do and they don't need a man. And what divine femininity does is it puts you right in the middle. See, feminist carries you out to the outer loops because it goes into the hyper independence. That's what feminism draws you to. Um, the neediness is the opposite. You know, we always talk about these women that we try to avoid as much as possible. Every minute, even in the dating realm, this minute you talk to a woman, the first thing she say, "Man, I need my bills paid." You ain't even getting a full conversation yet, and already you have a budget slip at the
Yeah.
doorstep, right?
It's
So
insane.
yeah, so now with when you have divine femininity is not feminism, and it's all the way far from neediness. Divine femininity brings women right in the median, which is the femininity allows you to embrace your man, embrace his leadership. That's where you need your man at. Not needing him in a way to survive, but needing him as protection, as somebody that's going to push you in the right direction to where you need
Right.
to be, guiding you on the path of that you guys are going to lead into a successful one, and one that breeds a legacy down the long run. Um, so it's very important that women adapt to the divine femininity, so that way on this you're not on the masculine side and the feminist side, and you're far away from the over neediness side. So definitely you don't need a mate that is neediness. Even a lot of you women out there, there's a lot of dudes out there that's neediness. You can tell some of the red flags that you get from men is that a guy would say, "I need somebody like my mother." If
Oh,
you got to break that down
oh.
in the context. You got to break that down in the context of how do you need me like your mother? You know,
Mm.
because if he says it in a way like I need somebody like my mother, my mother is a feminine woman. She supports her man. She does what she needs to do to get things done as a family unit. That's fine. But most times we have men that say I need somebody like my mother because they need somebody to coddle them, somebody that sits there and does everything
Yep.
for them like their mother. So those are the guys that are neediness. Those are the neediness men. Those are the men that you need to basically derive and get away from. So you got to understand, like I say, context of what it is. But if a guy says he needs somebody like his mother, red flag, or your ears, your antennas should be up, and then go into details of what that looks like, because you don't need a man that needs you like that, because most of those men are crippled. And then that's when you fall into the domestic violence situation, because guess what? When you have a neediness man, um, he's gonna be like, if you can't do this for me, and you're going to break away and promote your goodness to somebody else, and you're going to leave me out here stranded and I can't defend for myself, I can't feed myself, then guess what? I'm taking you out and I'm taking myself out. And that's where you see a lot of
Right.
domestic violence. When you look at the breakdown of these domestic violence, in most cases, a lot of the times it's a neediness guy that's in those, the guy that has been coddled, a guy who's looking for constant support. Those guys are the Jodies, right? The guys that have been coddled by their mother so bad that when they go out in the real world, they don't operate in a man that's out here handling business. So
Hmm.
understand that part of it. Um, Talking more about themselves than about anyone else. Self-absorbed, that's a self-absorbed trait.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's somebody that feels like they know everything. Somebody who you can't tell them what they lack accountability because they feel like they know everything, and they feel like they're this great person. Those are people that you don't want around you too much, because even when I come across women all the time, women tell me that I know a lot, and I tell them I don't know enough. You know what I'm saying? As a
Right.
person, you don't know everything out here. So you're always learning. I've always got my ears pinned back when somebody's out here speaking some great things of content, some great gems. I'm always listening. I'm always absorbing and trying to add these things to my life to make my life better. But if you have somebody out here who's self-absorbed, who thinks they know everything, it's going to cause more friction. And when you cause friction, it goes right back into the drama. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you have somebody that understands and observes other people and takes things from other people, and not somebody who's only thinking about themselves and thinking themselves so highly, and you looking at them and you're peeping all these flaws that they could correct on, but they think that they're the perfect person. So stay
Hmm.
away from these people. These are energy vampires, and these are, when we say energy vampires, we're meaning it in a negative way that's going to hinder you in the long run. And if you're building out here trying to handle business, these are the things these are the roadblocks that's going to stop you from handling business in a right way, versus you out here handling business how you're supposed to. So I definitely want to turn it over to you guys. Do you guys see anything that you want to point out here or elaborate on before I take it down, or you guys good?
Yeah, absolutely, man. First off, I want to put it out there that we all know people who possess these type of energy vampire characteristics. We all know these type of people, and unfortunately, the vast majority of us, until we get a lot of experience, whatever the case may be, we we keep these people around us, man. We welcome them into our lives. You know what I'm saying? We it's
Mm,
unfortunate, but we have all probably welcomed some of, if not all of those type of people into our lives. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Knowing that they have these energy vampire characteristics, knowing that these people are draining, knowing that they're needy, knowing that they always have problems, and they kind of, they're always in need of help. You know what I mean? And when you have people
yeah,
like that around you, I think that's probably the worst one for me, the needy people. I have
yeah,
zero patience for needy people, because I feel like you got the same 24 hours in your day as I do in mine. Why
correct.
you always got to borrow money? You know what I'm saying? Why you always need a ride somewhere? You're an adult. You know what I'm saying? We should all have cars
Correct.
at a certain point. We should all have our own transportation. We should all have our own money. We shouldn't be, saying that we're going to do something and not following through. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm going to do this
Yeah.
for you, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm going to take care of it, and then when it comes down to it, you asking for money to take care of it when you said you were going to do it. You understand what I'm saying?
Correct.
Like these type of things, low quality people, who will suck all the energy out of you, you know, they only serve one purpose, and that is to bring you down. You're not going to be your best self. You're not going to be your best version of yourself with these type of people around you. We have to learn to surround ourselves with better people. especially when you start talking about the person that you laying down next to every night. You know,
Correct.
this is your life partner here. You know, this person
Correct.
has to be on point. It's not an option, you know, because if
Correct.
not, you're going to be miserable. And
Correct.
like Ant said, you know, when misery ensues, you know, as men, what's the first thing that we usually will resort to? Violence. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Correct.
you know, if you don't have control of yourself and you're not grounded, you know, yeah, you'll end up in that space. And, you know, for black men, we don't get second, third, fourth, fifth chances. You know, we mess up one time badly enough, and that's it. It's a wrap. You know, so we have to be extraordinarily careful. I always talk about this in the vetting process of dating. Guys are always out here complaining about this woman, oh, she did me so wrong. She broke my heart. Oh, Lord. She should have never gotten the first goddamn date.
Yeah.
Why did you take this person out? Cats be having multiple babies with chicks that I wouldn't be seen at Walmart with. This is a low quality person that possesses some of, if not all of the qualities that you just showed on that page. We need to be checking that at the door. We must do a better job of vetting people up front before they qualify for a date, before they even qualify for extended conversations on the phone. God damn it. Some people, I talk to them, real talk. I used to see females in the club sometime. I go approach them. Hey, what's up, blase, squaze, and literally within that first 5 to 10 minutes of conversation, she had said something stupid. I'm done. I done walked off and left her standing there talking to herself. And people like, damn, what was up with Shorty? Like, she was so fine. Yeah, but her up here was just all over the place. You know, one of my friends back in the days had a song. This dude I used to be tight with. He used to talk about the females. He's like, you got enough meatballs, but no noodles. You dig? And it's like, bruh, we got to get past that. Oh, she's so fine. Oh, Lord, she just like a plantation buck. Bruh, you got to get past that, because if she ain't right here, if she ain't right here, none of that shit means anything. Real talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not only for, you know, your mate, but also for other people around you, your friends. Your friends got to be on point. You know, I had a conversation with my wife not too long ago. She was talking about, wow, how solid my friends are. Every time that my friends say they're going to come someplace, they show up, all of them. You know what I'm saying? They do this, they go out of their way to do this, they go out of their way to do that. They really work with you. They really got your back, man. Damn, you know what I'm saying? Yes. Because I used to hang around some people who were, you know, far less reputable. You know what I'm saying? And it went left, because you know me. You know, Bobby will tell you about some of the people that talk about my character in the wedding. God bless them. That's very nice of them to say, but it's real. Like, I can't be around you if you a sleaze bag, you know, that you funny style and you move a certain way. Even if you just not solid as hell, I can't hang around you, because it's gonna go left. We all need to get like that. We you know, eliminate these less than people from our circles, man. They poison the well, man. They are the proverbial turds in the punch bowl of life. You dig?
Definitely.
Can't have it. Go ahead, Bob.
No, for me, the whole list really stood out. I probably like to put a few water drops on pessimism for a little bit, since it did kind of get glossed over. But so, and this is especially true when you're talking about your spouse, your mate, the person that's in your life. Pessimism, probably more so than all the others, man. That right there is the equivalent of running your TV on max volume. You got all the brightest settings on. No one's sitting in front of it. It's a hot day out. You're literally just killing and murdering the power on that thing. It's just depleting you and draining you.
Yeah.
To have somebody, and this is especially true of those people who are ambitious, who have goals, who have dreams, plans, they're actively working towards things. And you have somebody in your camp that it's to the point where they don't even have to open their mouth and say anything. Just the minute you come by them, you can just feel your creativity, your drive, your energy, your willpower, just everything just nosediving.
Yeah.
On a good day, it's plateauing and it's not going up, it's just maintaining. But on a bad day,
Hmm.
Mm,
it's straight
yeah.
declining. Um, I actually just saw earlier today Creed 3.
Hmm.
Very powerful, very amazing movie. Shout out to brother Michael B. Jordan in his directorial debut. They acted
Yeah.
the asses off in that film.
Mm,
Everything was put together very, very well. One of the
Yeah.
things that stood out, when it comes to taking in movies and media, whether it's visual, audio, whatever, media isn't just media. There's always messages and gems and things that are to be picked up. There's game everywhere if you're open to it. One of the things that stood out to me significantly throughout the whole movie was the relationships and the
Mm.
mm,
choices that were made in different relationships and how they affected certain things. I don't want to give away key things, but what I can touch on, I don't think is going to take away from anything, is specifically the relationship between Adonis Creed and his wife Bianca Creed. And one of the issues, and I can't recall the other Creed movies. I know I didn't see the second one. I saw the first one a while ago, but there's an issue that the wife is dealing with where she's this, big time musician. She has like, multiple gold records to her name, whatever. She also produces, but she had to make a transition in life because at somewhere online she started losing her hearing
mm,
and
Mm.
her hearing declined, so she had to make a choice. Well, I still love this music thing, so I might not be able to go out there and perform. I might not be able to make my own music, but I can still go ahead and use my gifts to produce other people's music or whatever. And she was
Mm.
right.
successful with that, but it was brought up how she was struggling with this herself. And through the movie, you see how, as Adonis is dealing with the issues from his past and how it's messing with his present and how it's really throwing the future in jeopardy, the whole time she's right there in his corner trying to
Mm,
be there and support him. And in typical masculine male fashion, just not just based on him being a man, but based also on his upbringing and what he went through, what he was dealing with, he went to a point where he was very open, he was very loving and supportive. Now he started kind of closing himself off. He was trying to really keep isolation between young Adonis and everything that he went through in the past to Adonis of old. He was really trying to keep the two worlds from merging, even though it felt like everything was coming to make that happen. And as a result, he was isolating her. He got to a point where, they had an argument. It blew up. He went off. His daughter came and observed that and everything. He had to apologize to her. But her thing was, let me be there for you. Let me help you. You got to open it. You got to talk about this stuff. You got to get it out. Finally got to a point where, he was just really feeling defeated. She was right there and he was talking to her. And, he had said something like, I know you're always big about talking about feelings and everything. This stuff is easy for you. And she was like, no, it's not. I'm still dealing with the issues from my hearing and everything. And every day it hurts me when I'm going in the studio. I'm working with these artists and trying to get them to where they need to be. And I know that I should be right there and right alongside them. She said,
mm,
but, I work every single day. Basically, her whole, even though he was pushing her away, he was, really trying to shut her out, wasn't opening up. She never stopped being there for him. She
Mm.
didn't take it personal. She was being pessimistic. She saw where he was and knew that wasn't who he was, and so she still made herself available in that space. And
yeah.
ultimately, it made a huge difference and allowed him to go forward and do what he needed to do.
Mm.
Can't imagine that situation playing out if he had some old negative, depleting, diminishing, downgrading, just dampening type chick that he was with. And that's who he had to
Right.
depend on. That's who's in his corner. That's who he had to share space and proximity with.
Mhm.
Mm.
The weight that he had on his plate, he wasn't going to come anywhere near doing what
Right.
needed to be done to overcome. But because he had her, and he had other people in his corner as well too, that gave him that boost that he needed, he was able to overcome. But that's life too, because
Hmm.
everybody ain't world heavyweight weight or world championship boxer competitor. Everyone's not like that.
Right.
Most people's lives are a lot less glamorous, a lot less on the upper end of the spectrum. But we all
Yeah.
have issues in life. We all have problems. We all have things that we're tackling at work, at home, at school, in our neighborhoods, with our families, whatever. We all have issues and things that we're working on, even just our hobbies and passion projects. And when you have somebody in your corner that supports you, that's empowering you, motivating you, accelerating you, You know, they can take something as simple as maybe building RC cars or
Mhm.
building a book collection, or whatever it might be, whatever it is that gives you joy, that puts light in your spirit and your heart. Just having a person that's open, supportive, motivating, and is optimistic and can really help keep you level when you're slipping and sliding.
Mm.
There's not a dollar amount that you can put on that. That is priceless.
Real talk. Yes,
They
sir.
don't print enough money to be able to do that for you. So no matter what level you are in life, if you don't have someone that's like that, if you have an energy vampire around you in any of those capacities, um, got to set them free. And it's also important to note that with all those things, balance is what's necessary because there is an opposite end of the spectrum for each of those things. You can be
Mm.
too optimistic. You can be you can go from being like you said needy to being hyper independent. So
Yeah.
we have to make sure we're striving for balance. We can't be too much of either of those things, but always strive to be right in the groove, right in the middle. That's where balance is, and that's where we achieve peace. That's where we achieve happiness. That's where we can get some stuff done and move forward.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Let
Man.
me just piggyback on that too, because that
Go ahead.
word pessimism.
Yes.
Um, I just want to just add to that. Pessimism is the trigger or the gateway drug, I should say, into the world of depression. You know,
Mm,
when you have a person around you that constantly exudes pessimistic energy, you
mm,
are on a pathway to depression. That's how a lot of us end up in that space. I know people personally, quite a few of them, family members, who have suffered tremendously from depression. And it
yeah.
comes from having people around you that have a pessimistic general overall view of the world. I mean, there are people like that, that, they find fault in everything. They find flaw in
Mm,
everything. And, once you surround yourself with those type of people, or it doesn't even have to be surrounding yourself, it could be one. You can
mm,
have one such person around you. If you're close to that person and you start internalizing what they say and internalizing their thought processes, you'll
mm,
end up in that place. And that is a very, very dangerous place to be. That's where you start, getting in the realm of, where you're thinking about suicide and,
mhm,
you're thinking about doing violent things to other people or whatever the case may
mm.
be, because you're so unhappy and you don't know how to process and you don't know how to deal with it. So yes, pessimism is an extraordinary thing, and we all need to be very careful and mindful of it. Just some quick comments check. I just want to get to that before you go to the next section.
Mhm.
Tonya says, "Thank you, brothers, for creating this platform."
Yes.
Um, um,
Appreciate you.
and Eric says, "Vampires have learned to manipulate stronger me by pulling their
Men,
strengths and
strong men.
hiding stronger men should be stronger men by pulling on their strengths and hiding weaknesses, supporting you on your highs and embracing your lows just to get closer to you and separate you." And that's absolutely true, Eric. Real talk.
Ultra
We
man.
appreciate you. That's what's up.
Definitely. So when we talk about men handling business, and so Eric is I call him my brother from another mother.
Mm,
Um, we went to school together. Um,
yeah.
we ended up going to college together, and then he veered off to go to the military. And
Yeah.
Salute.
I seen my brother one time recently. I came up and he met me up there with his wife. So
Hmm.
my brother got married. He got beautiful children. Man was out here handling business. It
That's
says a
what's up.
lot about it says a lot
Love to see
about a
it.
guy's character when he has friends out here handling business. You know,
Hmm.
when you have a circle that is just producing general good men, it is something phenomenal that is kind of infectious. That's why they always say line up and pair up with people that represent you. Like I can go somewhere and I represent my brother, and he can go somewhere and represent me. Because when they say, damn, that dude's solid, if he's around me, that solidness comes automatically to me.
There you
If
go.
I'm somewhere and he's with me and they like, yo, Ant's solid, and they see him, they're gonna be like, yo, he is a very solid dude as well. So I
Mm.
definitely want to take this time out to show my brother love and show people. This is my boy
Okay.
Eric. So Eric, you know, we around the same age. I think he's I want to say about 8, 9 months older than me.
Okay.
You know, he joined the army in 1998. He right now he's still presently in the army. That's 24 years in. He's married,
Ooh.
5 children. Two of his children are autistic, and they're getting phenomenal treatment through the army. They supply with some of the greatest treatment, and him being such a high-ranking educator and position holder inside the army. His children and his wife gets nothing but the best. But it takes somebody with leadership quality to put themselves in that position to basically protect and lead their family in the manner that he is in. So he's a senior maintenance supervisor. You know, he deployed in Iraq in 2003 to 2004. Station is in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And, you know, brother's been out here doing his thing. Served as the first sergeant for 3 years in charge of over 140 soldiers and officers each time. And let me tell you something. Over the years, he has sent me videos of basically speaking to these cadets, these individuals, leading them. So he doesn't go in. He's not in the army just there to be there. Like he's a mentor to these children, to
That's what's
these
up.
young men, right? So
Mhm.
even young women. So you know, it's very important because everywhere you go, especially an elder, you want to have a mentor, and he's been a phenomenal mentor, especially when the young minds coming into the army or any military branch. You want to mold them in a way where they don't lose faith and become, like you say, pessimistic, right? They don't come into a pessimistic mentality because then when they do that, they end up having PTSD and then they either go rogue or they end up committing suicide. So by having such a mentor on base like that, somebody that understands because he's been in the same realm as you, but he's been doing it longer than you. So you representation in your face and you can see that he's very successful, and it leads you to having hope that you're going to be successful even though you're
Right.
in a realms of a dangerous environment because any given minute you can be deployed. Just like my cousin, he just got deployed the other day from the Navy. He's heading over there to Turkey, and you know Turkey just had that monster earthquake, um, and it left. He said it left a bunch of casualties over there. So he's being deployed out recently to go over there. We just finished talking, you know, online, and I know, like he just stated, that he was in Iraq for 2003, 2004. He could tell you himself of the casualties and the stuff he's seen, and those type of things. Is kind of it bears on you because a lot of people carry a lot of empathy and a lot of humanity, and that's what he has. That's my brother. He's been always like that, always the person that would give you his last to take his shirt off his back to make sure that you're straight. He's always been that A1 stand up
All
guy.
right.
So I know that these cadets, these soldiers are getting the best that they can best as a mentor, somebody that's guiding them in the proper direction. And
Mhm.
you know, like I say, he served in the balancing of command, sergeant major of over 300 soldiers and different officers, served as an army recruiter, enlisting over 200 civilians into the army. Awards, numerous awards of accommodation, leadership, and mentoring service medals. So he has all of those medals. You know what I'm saying? Like I just talked about.
Amazing.
Um, he controlled maintenance programs for two different brigades with over 1,000 pieces of equipment in each one. So he can handle the consume of all these job titles that isn't given to the average person. You know, he always tells me, you know, there's something there that challenges him, he's always up for the challenge because he puts everything on his back. And he's always been like that. Like I said, from day one, you know, I've seen him do things, put things, his family on his back and everything like that. We had rode down to South Carolina one time from Maryland, and I met his family. And, you know, I was like, you know, I've been in the city majority of my life and going out into the country. Man, South Carolina, man, is definitely is a world in itself. And just to see him coming out of South Carolina, being raised in South Carolina, you know the Southern hospitality, and he comes from a strong root of family and family tree and legends out of his family tree as well. So just seeing that, being part of that, man, I just wanted to salute him on everything he's doing and just showing you that this brother has been handling business, for over 24 years, because even before he got into the Army, he was out here handling business. As a young high school student that I met him as, handling business. I mean, shit, he was taking me around. He had a car before I had a car. So he was out here making sure I was out here handling business when I didn't have a ride. If I needed to go down, you know, coming from Florida and coming up to Maryland, I had to get my paperwork. So I had to go here and there. So he also was taking me around to make sure that I was handling business too, because my dad at that time was kind of disabled. So he didn't have a vehicle. So my dad was on the bus. So certain places, because Maryland isn't set up like Atlanta or Miami or Fort Lauderdale, where the bus system just runs all over the place. The bus system runs pretty vast, and it don't go into detailed specifics of areas you need to go to, because it was really country trying to form itself into a city. It looks totally different now where we live, but back then it was very spacious and everything like that. So so the brothers helped me to go out here and handle business. And like I say, he's my brother from another mother. I appreciate him, and I just wanted to, you know, shed a light on somebody that is close to me that I know that was out here handling business. And also people that's in the service might see him and say, damn, you know what? I know him. He do go out here and handle business. And he has the medals and the accolades to show you that he's out here handling business. So shout out to my boy, Eric McDuffie. Continue doing the great work you've been doing, my brother, and handling business.
That's what's up.
Salute.
That's what's up. Hey, man, salute, dogs. Respect. Listen, and I think at the end of the day, it boils down to something very simple, man. You know what I'm saying? Two words to mind: discipline and perseverance. You know what I mean? And a lot of us, man, we don't have any discipline. You know what I mean? We can't keep ourselves from doing silly shit. We like shiny things. Every shiny thing we see distracts us. You know, that brother right there, that's a serious brother. That's a brother that, you know, he's going to get things done, you know, and he's a solid dude. Sounds like he's an extraordinarily solid dude. And that is exactly the type of dude we need out here. Because everything that you said about him, you know, as we're talking about, you know, it exemplifies handling business and manhood, being thorough and following through on things. You know, if we have more people out here like that and less people out here making it rain in the club, we'd be a much better community. Simple as that. I mean, because at the end of the day, you as a people, you know, you are the sum of things that you find important. That's it at the end of the day. You are the sum of things that you find important, you know, and too many of us find childish nonsense to be something important. You know what I mean? It's refreshing to see, you know, brothers that's out here like that. That's almost like an equivalent of the crown check that we do for the sisters every week, you know, but we're highlighting a brother this time, and it's all great. You know, it's all, you know, right on time. It's all perfect for the message that we're relaying today. And I hope that resonates with you guys out there. You know, these are the type of brothers that we need to be. We don't necessarily need need to be in the armed forces or need to have
Mhm.
any type of job. We're not saying, oh, you have to do this or you have to do that, but the
Correct.
general concept of being a serious individual that is results oriented, that focuses on things and perseveres and sees them through and has accomplishments in their lives that they can look to and point to, and they give them credibility. We appreciate you too, Eric. They give them credibility, the credibility to be able to step in and be able to talk to some of these young people. You know what I mean? Because let me tell you something, when you go and talk to these young people, they ain't stupid, man. They'll question you. They'll,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
well, what do you do? Where do
Yeah.
you come from? What's your background? Basically, it's the undertone and not saying it directly, but why should I listen to you?
Correct.
And they're spot on. Because a lot of
Yeah.
y'all, it really is no reason
Yeah.
they should listen to you. You know what I'm saying? We're being totally real about it.
Yes.
I don't pull no punches. A lot of us,
Correct.
we want to get out here and be on some do as I say, not as I do type of bullshit. And
Correct.
you can see through that, man. You
Correct.
gotta walk the walk. Like Bobby was saying earlier, ain't no damn shortcuts to this. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? Man up,
Correct.
get out there and do it. And this brother, he got out there and did it. Shout out to him. Thank you for your service. We appreciate you. God bless your life. Love it.
Okay.
So,
We know.
speaking of that, that's something that I've noticed. There's a difference in that regard with the current generation we have now from the older heads, including ours. And back from our generation, it started kind of waning a little bit with us, but
Mhm.
with this new generation, that's completely out the picture. There was a lot of the what you just talked about, the whole "do as I say, not as I do."
Mm,
This just blind, um, un not undeserved, but this blind, just unrequited respect for elders, for older people,
mm,
just by virtue of them being older, having lived, not
uh,
having died yet. They just got respect. They were just anything I had to say was just taken as gospel, and the whole idea was, well, because they've lived a very long time, they've
uh,
experienced more life than us. By
mm,
virtue of that, we should just listen to them straight up and straight out. And
Yeah.
while there is some level of substance to that because just by virtue of being older, they have lived a little longer. By virtue of that,
yeah,
they should have been in positions to have seen more and done more than those younger than them. And so as a result, there is some benefit to listening to those people. But the reality is a lot of older people are just simply older and they're not elder. They haven't done
Mm.
a lot of growth. They haven't done a lot of things. And I'm saying that because when you look around too often, we see a whole ton of failure and not enough success. A lot of these, we're
oh
here in
yeah,
2023, just dealing with
Mhm.
us, just dealing with, with,
hmm
with, with family talk right now.
yeah,
For so many of us to be in 2023, the year of our Lord right now, and we still have a whole bunch of first this and first that. I'm the first person to go to college in my family. I'm the first person in the family to start a business. I'm the
crazy.
first person to start a family. I'm the first person to be a husband or be a wife in my family. I'm the first person to
Mhm.
this. All kinds of boxes that are just being checked off for the first time. That
Hmm
means that there's not a lot of things that have been done. And I get that circumstances are a thing, opportunities are a thing, um, inspiration is a thing as well too. If nobody around you had some of these ideas, not too much you can do about that. I get that, but at the same time,
Mhm.
there's levels, right? So
mm,
by being an older person, yeah, there should be a level of respect that comes with that. But if you talk about an elder,
yeah,
that's not a lightweight term. An
real
elder
talk.
is a significant term. That means when you use the word elder, that means this is a person of worthy of reverence. That means you've done
Mhm.
something to earn that title. Um, I might love you, Uncle Jojo, but if the bulk of your life has been you sitting on the porch and just drinking 40s with the fellas and talking about the good old days, how it used to be, and how you used to go out to the club every
Yeah.
Saturday night, and you had a brand new Cadillac, and you used to come through with your Maury Gators on, and you had your nice suit on, and all the women was looking at you. And this is all that you can lay claim to. You ain't got nothing of note to really glom onto.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can't expect me to have the same amount of respect for you that I would for a brother out in the neighborhood who went and started a local a corner store. It's been running for the past 30, 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Has been serving food to the community. When families were in need, he was able to go out there, provide dinners, whatever, provide groceries for the low, whatever. His store is a safe place that kids could spend time, and they didn't have to be out there on the block, whatever. Get
Right.
involved in trouble, whatever. People that are out there
Mhm.
doing things, making an impact, doing things of note, actually leaving a tangible legacy, things that you can see, touch, smell, taste, feel, you can
Yeah.
actually experience. You can't tell me I'm supposed to have the same respect for this one that for this one that they're both elders.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
This has
Real
got to be a
talk.
different. At some point, the years that you've lived have to count for something. And
Right.
I'm
Correct.
not saying this thing that you should be disrespecting older people if they haven't accomplished, but I'm simply saying that all can't be equal. Let's
Right.
put things in its proper perspective so that we can inform the future. Because we know this is the universal concept. It's not just with children. You have to teach people. You have to put things in their proper perspective. If I don't have to work to get the same benefits as someone who does work, what incentive is there for me to work? What incentive is there for those coming after me to work? If
True.
all is equal, no. You can get respect just from being a human being. No, no doubt, no problem. But if you
Yeah.
want this
Correct.
level, if you want to be considered an elder,
Mm-hmm.
you got to earn that. And these young kids now, they're not just going to listen to the older people just criticize them and chastise them. The first thing that's going to be out their mouth is, "Well, what have you done?"
Mhm.
I saw a sister
And that's fair.
on a post. I saw a sister on a post the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not definitely not representing womanhood in an appropriate way at all. She was definitely a black eye in womanhood. She was an L. Fortunately, the bulk of the sisters on the post were not like that, and they
Yeah.
were humble as well. But she had the nerve, once her perspective was challenged on something, to go and
Mm-hmm.
get gut and just get vulgar. And
Mhm.
one
That's
sister who was
powerful.
being classy asked, well, why isn't that you haven't done any of the things that you're saying that should be done? Because she was trying to, undercut a point that was being made and talking about, oh, this is that and third. And she was saying, well, why haven't you gone ahead? You're so big on this. Why haven't you gone and done these things that you're
Yeah.
talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Sister decided to get gutter and say, well, because if your daddy would have taken the initiative to go and do it, I wouldn't have to be in this position now. And so I
Wow.
came along. I tried to say, I wanted to let the ladies do their thing, but um,
Mm-hmm.
hi, I'm Bobby Drake. I don't know if I'm petty.
There you
I,
go.
I,
There you
I was
go.
born. I was born in Pettyville.
There you
I
go.
was raised in the Petty Woods. For the first 12 years of my life, I hunted and I killed all things petty. I ate the meat, spit out the bones. That
There
was what
you
I
go.
do. So I couldn't resist, and I went and said, "Well," just one sentence said, "Well, what does your daddy build?"
Mhm.
That was exactly what I was gonna say. Real
I
talk.
didn't go. I didn't go open any doors that weren't already open. The doors already open. I just helped myself right on in. I said, "Well, okay, you talking about her daddy? You being rude and vulgar.
Mm-hmm.
What does
Mhm.
your daddy build?"
Because
Yeah.
I'm listening to you, and it
And of
could have
course,
been
I got
another.
called everything but a child of God. So
Yeah, of course you did. Of course you did. There
he
you go.
he's sick. That sunk her battleship.
There
But the
you
point
go.
is, but the point is, again, what is being built? What is being passed on? And are you speaking from your experience, what you've seen and done that you know the ins and outs of, or are you just out here spitballing and just talking about nonsense in the ether? So again, we have to make a point that, especially if you want to call ourselves having an impact in the lives of the generations to come. And this is to me first and foremost before anybody else. Make sure that you're building a legacy that you can call on. So you're not speaking from theory and you can say, this is what I've done, this is what I know. I'm giving it to you the way I lived, the way I experienced it.
Yeah.
Learn from where I came from so you don't have to go down that path. So it's easier for you.
Mm-hmm.
So the brothers like Eric out there who are actually doing it, they're being about it. they leave it something tangible that they making an impact at that level, keep doing it. And if you're not at that level, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
All you got is the dash between your birth date and your death date. You got that one little dash. Do something with that.
Yeah.
Don't just
Mm,
live and die. That's an ugly existence. Make your life matter. Make your life count. Live a life where people can actually mourn you for the things you left behind, not just because you were around and existed.
exactly.
I believe it was the great Negro orator Bobby Drake that said, "What doesn't grow is dying. If you're not
Mm,
growing, you're dying."
yeah.
You
There's
know what
no
I mean?
middle
At the
ground.
end of the day, and that's what it is, man. You got to be moving. You got to keep your legs moving. You got to be moving forward. Very well said,
Definitely.
brother. Very well said.
Very well
Go
said. And
ahead.
that so
Yeah, you
it's
got, you
so
got something
crazy
else for us.
because y'all don't understand the level of connected we are. Like, do I show you guys be real? Like just be real with the world. Do I show you guys the content that I have, the memes that I have, or the videos that I have before we go on show?
Nah,
So
nah.
you guys are just in the wind when I
We just
bring them up.
freestyling. Yeah,
Exactly, right?
yeah.
And people don't understand, like, it's crazy. This is how powerful these brothers are. This is how powerful our vibe and connection is. Because I'm gonna just show you something that I had in my arsenal that just Bobby Drake just talked about, right? Nobody
Mm,
will remember your salary. Nobody will remember how busy you were.
mm.
Nobody will remember how many hours you worked. And damn sure ain't nobody remember how many Gucci
That's
bags you own. But
right.
people
Fair
will
God hosted.
remember, people will remember how you made
Mm.
them feel.
How about that?
People will remember the time you spent with them. People will remember you kept your word. And people will remember if they can count on you. And we just
How
talked
about
about that. We just highlighted my brother, Eric McDuffie, that just exuded that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Everybody that comes across him in his little sector, right? Everybody that comes across, everybody that he signs up, everybody he takes under his wing, everybody he
Mm,
comes in connection with is going to remember him because they're going to remember how his words made them feel comfortable when they're away from their family.
yeah.
Nobody, they don't know nobody.
Mm-hmm.
He is the father, he's the brother, he's the grandfather, depending on how old they are.
Yeah.
He's the grandfather. You know what I'm saying? He's the uncle. He's that person for them. That's the closest family they're gonna have, and he's embraced them and put them under their wing to make them feel like I'm just your distant relative. They'll always remember him.
Yeah.
The
And that's
time he
important.
spent, exactly, the time he
It's
spent
important
with them.
work.
Even
Mm-hmm.
the people, when you look back when he went to Iraq, the people he went to Iraq with, they're gonna always remember him during that tough time that they had to fight and battle with, because he probably put a bullet in the enemy to save one of their lives.
Mm-hmm. How about that?
He
Hmm.
kept his word. He made sure that he took him under the wing and made sure, I'm gonna protect you. I'm gonna make sure you come back home to your family. He kept his word. And at the same time, indirectly, he could be somebody they count on. I can count
Mm,
on Eric to get me to that next level. I can count on Eric to co-sign me and promote me into the different sector of the military that I wanted to go in. I can count on him to make sure that I'm coming back to hold my child in my arms when I need to.
mm.
We all have that ability to connect with people, to be that motivational person in somebody's life. We can always be that memorable person if we sat back and know how to handle business,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And
Sir.
handling business, you want to, oh, okay. Handling
No,
business
go.
also, handling business also is viewed upon not only by your woman. Your woman is looking for you for leadership. But guess who else is watching you when you're handling business? And I've talked about this plenty of times because I don't have any children, but I've been in situations where I was a stepfather. And I've told you guys before that my stepson, he right now is handling business because of how he saw me in the household with his mom handling business and making sure things were got done to make sure that I put him on a great path of success. And that happened. I told people before, he never was on the honor roll till I got in that household. He ended up getting on the honor roll. You would have thought he won $1 million the way he was acting off and carrying on and showing everybody, his father to his mother, how he ended up on the honor roll. But it talks about handling business. I came in there handling business. So leading by example, now my stepson is out here handling business.
Real talk. Real talk.
Right? He has his son, and he says, because of you, I don't stop hustling. I don't stop. My gears don't stop because every day I used to sit back and wake up and you be out that door at work. It's not one time that you called out and said you wasn't going to work. Even the days when he knew that I was a little down and I didn't feel like going, I still was able to go because he knew at the end of the day that the food was put on that table because of my hard work and my ethic of going out there and producing and getting that bread and bringing it back on that table and providing for children that biologically was not mine. And I didn't have to do that. I could have walked away at any given point. I could have told him, why don't you go call your father? I didn't do that. I have a village mentality because a man who is out here handling business doesn't matter about anything else but making sure that everybody under that roof is properly taken care of because I signed up for that. Nobody forced me to sign up. I signed up, and that's what I signed up to do, and I did it to my maximum ability. Just like when you sign up for any military branch, you go out there putting your all in it. Nobody forced you to sign up to any military branch. But once you sign up, you're going to go and do your all. You're going to put your best into it. And that's what I did. And like I say, your children are out here watching you. And I brought that point up to show you this. So we have a woman and her son, right? So her son texts out the blue and says, "Mom." She says, "Yes." He said, you were 17 when you had me, right? She said, "Yeah, why?" He said, "I'm in health and we're learning about unprotected sex." Why were you having unprotected sex at 17? Why were you even having sex at 17 and still in school, Mom? So you had unprotected sex with 3 different people, my dad, Caleb's dad, and the girl's dad? Wow, that's a lot. And she says, "Dang, boy, any other questions? You all in my business," with a laughing emoji. Now, when you look at that, it says a lot, right? It says a lot. And I want to play this video that I have because sometimes people don't understand. People don't understand when you verbally say it, right? So I want to show
I need
you.
so much stronger in this bottle right now. Jesus have mercy.
That was heavy.
I want to show you. I want to show you that not only does this is a mom and son. This is totally different than the video I'm about to show you. And it goes to show you that your children are watching. You lead by example. That's why we have a lot of janky children out here, because we're not leading by example. You can talk all the big talk you want to talk, but if you ain't walking the walk, these children know it. And they're behind a computer that they can Google anything. You can't tell them nothing. So you better come correct, and you better stand on your ground, and you better handle business, or your child is going to do this right here.
Oh boy.
Hold on.
Oh
Let's
Lord,
see if
Billy.
it pop up. Is it
Man,
playing?
no,
Hold
it's
on.
I
not
can't
playing.
help but feel it's in everyone's best interest if this never loads, because Lord, that
Uh,
sounds heavy.
Oh man, don't tell me. Don't
oh
tell me it's hold
But God, won't He do it?
on. No, don't do it. Oh no, don't do it. Don't do it.
uh,
I just had it.
damn.
All right, hold on.
but
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
go ahead
but
and
Reggie.
but
talk because
while
I'm gonna
while
end
you
up
while you working that out,
yes.
um, yeah, I mean, it's been said before, but I don't think that's something that can ever be over replayed. Um,
Yeah.
your children, people, period, but your children specifically, those little friggin' sponges and tape decks, man.
Yeah.
You can tell them all kind of things. You can say things over and over again. You can
Mm,
tie them to a chair and just speak in a megaphone in their ear, sun up to sundown. They
Yeah.
gonna maybe retain about a good 10%, 15% of that on a really good day if they got maybe like a eidetic memory, a picture memory, whatever.
yeah,
Correct.
But the one thing that will never leave them is your example. They will remember that because that makes an impact on you at a different level.
real
Now,
talk.
if the things that you say, what you reinforce, those principles, if those are in sync with your actions,
Mm,
then the words will stick. Then they'll be able to have that and they'll be able to recall that until they're old and gray.
Right.
But
correct.
that whole do as I say, not as I do thing, that don't
Yeah.
work. That is
Mm-hmm.
not effective parenting. And if anything, it undercuts you. You think you're doing something. You think you're doing your job as a parent by getting on your child and telling them, don't do this, don't do that, X, Y, Z, and the third. My house, my rules. I brought you in this world. I could all these little cute little quippy social media uh,
Mm,
buzzwords and catchphrases that you be seeing in
right.
memes and not. And you think that makes you a good parent. But meanwhile, your
Exactly.
child is right there, front row seats to the You Show, starring you, directed by you, hosted and produced, starring you. They see how you
Correct.
getting down, and
Yeah.
they realize, man, this lady full of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, this dude is hot garbage. And mind you, they'll never tell. Well, not necessarily. In some
Good
cases,
to
most
yeah.
cases, they won't tell you out loud. But you stir that pot up right, and the Bible even says it. It cautions you. It tells the children, honor your mother and your father, so your days be long on the earth. But it also
Mm.
says an adult like to skip that part because that's how we like to do in life, whether it's the
Oh
Bible or
yeah.
anything else. We like to skip things that come to the kids.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Right next door, right next door. If you just hop your eyes down one line, the Bible also
Yeah.
says,
Mm-hmm.
"Parents, do not provoke your children to wrath." Uh oh.
Mm.
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 Uh
Hold up
oh.
now. Hold up now. Huh.
So
Mm.
so so God got all the babies. God got all the babies, but he turned around and said, "Hold on, mom and dad. I got something for you too. You don't. This ain't a one way street. We got two lanes of traffic. So check this out. Don't piss
Already.
off your kids, or
Mm.
rather, do not provoke them to wrath." So
Right.
that
Yeah.
means right there trying to get in your child's behind about something.
Mm.
Meanwhile, your child is ready to go off on you because he knows damn well, or she knows damn well, she got it from you.
Yeah.
Real talk.
You pass the baton, and you mad your child is doing it at a better level than you are. And rather than being transparent with your child, being honest, rather than really addressing the source of this, which is you, and
Hmm.
really
Mm-hmm.
attacking from that angle, you just trying to get it on the baby as if this is something they hatched up on their own. It's
Right.
not
Exactly.
sufficient. You do more
Correct.
damage than good that way.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Being a parent, and I'm not speaking from experience because I have no children of my own. But one thing I
Mm.
do know is that being a parent is a very difficult job, and there's
Mm.
no such thing as being a perfect parent. You're gonna have mishaps. You're gonna do things wrong because you're
Correct.
gonna have faulty upbringings, and sometimes
Correct.
the children aren't always brought here under the best circumstances either.
Correct.
True.
But the one thing that
Correct.
is essential to being a halfway decent parent is you need to be transparent.
Exactly.
You need to use your life as a teaching tool, all of it, the good, especially the bad, and definitely the ugly. That means you're gonna have
Hmm.
to confront some things that aren't very comfortable. That means
Mm.
you're gonna have to make some peace with some things that you've done that don't reflect too well on you.
Mm.
You're concerned about looking
Mm.
like a hero in your children's eyes, but meanwhile you the villain because you What you're not sharing, what you're not coming up off of, is kicking your child's ass.
Yeah.
You know, some of these kids, we talk about traits and genes. Some of these kids are battling demons and issues right now. They don't understand it, and the truth is, that's your generational curse, or that's your genes. That's your proclivities. That's what you've
Yes.
introduced into your gene pool, and they fight with them. They don't even understand it. And you can make the
Exactly.
biggest difference in their life if you just say, "Hey, son, look, check this out. I love you. I know you're not doing very well in school, but the truth is, I had a nasty temper when I was your age. I had anger issues. I still got anger issues.
Yeah.
Hell, when my mother left, there's a couple times where I put hands on her.
Mm.
This is something I've been doing my whole life, and it's looking like now you're dealing with that right now. But I
Mhm.
want to let you know that I'm working on it, trying to get better, and I need you to work with me so we can get better.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know what, baby girl? Let me talk to
Yep.
you. I gotta
Real.
be honest with you. When I was your age, I was out there. I was
Mm.
passing myself to this boy to that boy, and when I got older, that didn't change either. So I got that in me, and I'm seeing you starting to go down that path too. It's not because you're a bad person. I help pass something down to you, but we need to tackle this together. I'm gonna get it
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
right if you promise me to try and get it right. You got to have those kind of deep, ugly conversations with your child.
Yeah.
Well, see, now you're
And
talking
Because
about
if
being
especially
you
nowadays,
accountable.
I'm gonna let you jump on it. And especially nowadays, that's important because nowadays, when we're older, we have the benefit, if you want to call that, of doing these things. And because only the people who is in the immediate vicinity could see and know about it, that was it. Some of us
Yeah.
could jump cities and go to and completely relocate, and nobody knows about our past or histories. But nowadays, with these things, the internet,
Mm.
oh my God, forever. They mess
Its
up one good
availability
time, and
is a
people that don't even
wrap.
speak English in countries know how you get down. So the
Yeah.
children more than
It's
ever
all.
need this transparency. They need this.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Major.
yeah. No, I was gonna say
Nah, I was just
before you
go
jump
ahead,
in,
and then I'll come.
no, before you jump in, Major, let me see if this
Mhm.
video plays so that way I can give you some extra stuff
Okay.
to basically jump in on. Let me see. It
Mm-hmm.
should be
No ammo
playing
for the
now.
shotgun. Let's
Grow
go.
up and want to be like you.
Huh?
I used to grow up and I wanted to be like you.
Okay. That makes sense.
And now I don't.
What you mean you don't want to be like me? Who you want to be like?
You're an awesome dad. You give me everything I want, but you don't know how to treat women. You're the only one in this family that their girlfriend don't appreciate them. You never wanted to hold your girlfriend's hand or walk with her or take her on a date. You always act like you're the head of the relationship. Moo know how to treat people. He took his girlfriend to Mexico just because. Moo know how to treat his girlfriend. Aries know how to treat his girlfriend. George know how. But you don't. You're the only person in this family that don't know how to treat a girl.
I don't know, because I'm not sweet. Because I'm not sweet, you don't want to be like, you don't want to.
That's the whole point of getting a girlfriend. Cause
Yeah.
So I just wanted to show you that.
Whoa. 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 Whoa.
It's amazing how
Listen, bruh.
these babies
Oh
got
my
such
God.
small. These babies have such tiny hands. Ain't got
Oh.
absolutely no muscle in these arms, but Jesus Christ, can they throw some shots?
Yeah.
Woo!
And you know
Ooh.
what I like? You know what I like about it? I love the fact
I
Mm.
that
would
he
have had to go
says, look,
right off
he
that. I'd
says,
had to go
look,
off therapy just for at least a week off of that. If that was me, I'm sorry. I
Bruh.
got to check
yeah.
myself.
So I love the fact that he says, and I'm gonna let Major jump in. I love the
Yeah.
fact that he says, Dad, you're a wonderful father, and you give me what I want, but
Yeah.
it ain't
But
about me. You gotta handle your girlfriend better, man. And
yeah,
that's
that's heavy.
accountability. That's
That's
not no simple.
accountability.
That's accountability. That's like
That's
saying, look, cause
accountability.
yeah,
But
because he's a
but that's so
child.
deep. He said all my essentials are taken care of, but what I really
Exactly.
want, what I need is I need a role model. I'm a young boy. I'm trying to become a man. I'm trying to get to the
Exactly.
next level of my life,
Just
and
saying.
I can't get that from you.
Yes.
I
You
used to want
handling
to be like
business.
you, but I'm
You
looking at
had
your life and I'm seeing some big holes, Pops. You are
yes.
not man enough to get the job done. Oh,
You
Oh,
handling business, but not in all areas. Go ahead, Mason. Take it
first of
in.
all,
damn.
I'd like to point
I got
out
goosebumps.
that people of other races don't criticize the men within their race.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I want to point out. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to hear no shit from nobody about we don't hold people accountable on this show. I don't want to
Exactly.
hear that bullshit ever again. You understand? Or we
The
only go at
devil is a two-tone
bullshit.
lie.
Yes.
This right here. That's a man. Listen, you
Yes.
got. First of all, let me go back. Let me bring it back. Let me read through the comments first, and then I'm gonna get back in this. We've been getting some really good comments too, right?
Yeah.
There's one comment here. We as men, Eric said, we as men have fallen short on our responsibilities of being men. We have lost our backbone and replaced it with a slinky. Damn, that was
Hallelujah.
heavy. Unfortunately, a lot of slinky backbone brothers out here. Real talk. Sister Mila Renee says, peace. What's going on, sister? How's everything? Blessed. Monet, Quita Monet says, I've had these same conversations with my children. I've had to apologize for not being the best parent at times and that I'm still learning no matter my age. Yo.
Absolutely.
This right here, Leo John says, nice. This right here is what I'm talking about. This is what this show is about being able to hear or see something or recognize something in a conversation, reflect, go back to a space where you've checked yourself, or maybe think of a place where you need to check yourself, go through a little, soul searching and find a solution and fix the goddamn problem. You understand what I'm saying? That's what this is all about at the end of the day. What do you have? What can we give you to take home with you to help you be better? You know what I'm saying? Period. That's what it is. We're nation building here. And yeah, I absolutely love what the young brother said. You know what I mean? You're a great father. However, you need to work on this major thing. I don't want to be like you because I am observing you exude this behavior that has this tragic flaw in it where you don't know how to treat a woman. That's heavy coming from your son.
Yeah.
You understand? That's heavy.
He said that right on his chest.
Hey, he said in a very respectful way. That's what blows me away about it, because he's not, sassing his father and being disrespectful to his father. He said, Pop, you don't know how to treat a woman. And because of that, you're my example. I'm mimicking your behavior. You need to tighten up so I can be better, so I can want to be like you in that way as well. This is a serious deficiency. And if we're being totally honest, a lot of brothers out here don't know how to treat women. I'm going to just say it.
Yeah.
Anybody got a problem with me, see me. A lot of brothers out here don't know how to treat women. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So how are we going to correct the problem if we don't fix it? If we don't acknowledge it, if we don't acknowledge the problem, how are we going to fix it? Because a lot of us, we feel like, like he said in the video, being sweet. Well, being sweet to a woman you love is a beautiful thing. That's what you're supposed to do.
That's the point. Why you got one?
You can just have exactly why you got one. The kid got more sense than him. You feel me? In that regard, the kid got more sense than him.
These kids, I keep saying it's a different breed. These kids,
seriously,
these kids have been here before, man.
We cannot take lightly.
And you can't run game on them.
We got seriously, and that's another part of the show where we give brothers good game where they can do simple things. Like it don't even really take a lot if you're being totally honest.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But a lot of us have all this, trauma that we still haven't healed from. We've never let's be honest. How many of us really go down and seek a mental health professional that have trauma? Let's be honest. How many of us do it? How many of us have the wherewithal to even think that that is a thing and understand the need to do it? Because a lot of us think that's corny. Oh, do we want me to get into the corny people and people who've been throwing around the word corny lately? I really almost don't want to do it, but a lot of us think that that's corny. And what's so sad and what's so much to our detriment, so many of these things that we think are corny are the things that we need to complete us.
Yeah.
Things we need to get in the people not lackluster.
Correct.
Really?
Tell us, like we go back to the other conversation about the elders, because he's that guy's elder, even though he's a relatively young man. I learned from Tariq Nasheed, there's a difference between an elder and an old nigga. Okay? There's a difference. Okay? So let's go ahead and break that down because, at the end of the day, like Bobby Drake said, when you're an elder and I meet you, you're supposed to be able to enlighten me. You're supposed to be able to game me up. You're supposed to be able to make me better because you have a life experience that you've lived. Not only have you lived, but you learned from it. You became wise from it. Some people, they just old. They just haven't died yet. That is not an accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? It's really not. What have you built? What have you done? What can you show the youth to say, okay, this is what you should be doing because I did it, I've been there, or this is what you should avoid because I did it, I've been there, and I can tell you this ain't the way to go or this is the way to go. They checking your paperwork, man. They pulling your cards. These shorties out here, I've mentored them. They pull your cards quick. Why should we listen to you? And though it may be a bit of a belligerent stance, it's fair. Why should we listen to you? You hear, you know what I'm saying? You hear, okay, the white folks gave you a little paper. They told you, okay, go over there and talk to them niggers. But why should we, now that you're here, listen to you? That's 1,000% fair. And we got to get on the wavelength where we have, something to show for everything that we've been through. And we can teach not only, through what we have seen, elsewhere and through what we have read or whatever the case may be, but through our experience. We out here having all these experiences and we ain't teaching nobody from them, or we are teaching, but we're teaching the absolute wrongest possible shit we could be teaching.
Correct.
That has to stop. We got to tighten that up. Go ahead, man. I got off on a little tangent there. Go ahead.
No, it was much needed.
You was on the right track. You was on the path. To be at.
I get a little spicy.
And I had one of those moments today too, because especially once you get in the mindset of certain things, I'm not going to necessarily say it's alignment or anything, but once you start getting the mindset where there's a certain way you operate and there's a certain way that you go about doing things, you find that oftentimes opportunities present themselves, and when you're ready for the opportunity, you don't have to shy away from it. So, like I said, I went to see Creed earlier today, and I had the mindset afterwards when I left. As soon as I had to pack my stuff, was going to go to the gym, lift some weights, and do some jujitsu drills. Got practice. I practice jujitsu, and went to the gym. So I saw the movie. I was hyped because they had me all in my emotion. I came out there ready to box everybody. I was about to sucker punch a few people coming out. I hopped in the whip. I pulled up, and I expected to see a few people up there, and I had a huge shock. I saw it was a whole ton of the crew up there warming up and everything. I'm like, oh my god, okay, so we about to get it. So I just silent on my plan. So we ended up to waste today. We rolling today. That's what's up. And we have several young cats, like kids, like high school kids, whatever they come to. And they super talented, man. They're like genuine prodigies, man. They're quick. They're good studies. They're always drilling or whatever. Really solid. They even give us old heads a run for our money. Most of us are raw rookies, anyways. I only have like 16 months under my belt. So for the most part, everyone's more or less relatively new. But these kids, man, they with it. And so I saw a couple of all show love to them when they come through, and they brought one of their friends with them from their school. This young brother,
Yeah.
and he's a tall guy. He's got about like 2 inches on me or whatever. And so I was like, welcome, glad to have you here, whatever. So he's doing this thing, they're talking to him, whatever. And I'm watching everybody else while they're doing their thing when I'm catching my breaks, catching my breath, whatever. And I'm seeing how he's getting down. I'm like, man, this like he's looking pretty good. So I was like, how long you been doing this for, whatever. He's like, oh, just 2 weeks. I'm like, excuse me, which mean 2 weeks. And I had to do the math, the correct figures. I'm like, nah, say no 2 weeks. But I thought about it now when he started going at it with somebody else again.
Yeah.
I could see that he was right. I could see that he didn't really have any technique. I could see that there's some glaring obvious things that even if you've been at it for like several weeks or whatever that you pick up. But I saw the athleticism. He plays football as well, so he is athletic, so he has good conditioning. But I saw some of his instincts. I saw the role without any technique, without any skill. I'm like, man, if he keeps training, he's going to be a problem. He's going to be nasty. And so he's talking a little bit, and he asked me, and he saw me taking interest, and he appreciated that. And so he asked, "How long have I been at it?" And I said, "Well, 16 months, not a whole lot, but I do have some stuff here and there." So right from then, I saw a little spark in his eyes when he heard, okay, he had some experience. He was listening. So he went on to do his thing. I went to get some rolls, and I was really on fire. I was really feeling it that day today as well. And then we both kept the break. I'm drinking my juice, whatever. He's sitting next to me. So he said, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" I said, "Sure, of course, anytime." So he said, "I'm always getting stuck. I'm getting stuck in this position. I don't know what to do about it. Do you have any advice for me?" And I said, "Well, that actually happens to be a position that I specialize. That's my favorite position. I'm comfortable there. I can definitely give you some insight." So I'm right there. We just go about what I'm doing. I'm just pouring into him. I'm just explaining the position, how it works and everything. Here's what you need to do. He's like, "Do I do it like this?" Like, "No, do it like this. Let's switch. You get on me, get me in this position." And I'm going at it with him. I see him picking it up. And I'm just, giving him the game, giving him the game. He gets in the role. I see him, he gets him in that position. He does what I was telling him to do. I'm kind of coaching him a little bit too. And he just executes a masterful. Like, that's beautiful. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Man, I was supposed to only be there for like an hour, hour and a half because I got to, clean up, wash the locks, get ready for everything. I'm like, okay, call out like 30 minutes to get these lifts and hit these weights, whatever, so I can get back. He came afterwards and asked me for some more advice. I'm like, man, I scrapped the rest of our plans for the next half hour. It's just me and him drilling, going over stuff. I'm like, let's just go, no submissions, just positional work. And so I'm working his ass out, but he's working me out too. I'm explaining this, how you do this, this, that, and the third. We keeping it basic so I don't overload him. But man, when he saw that someone who had more knowledge than him was willing to share, wasn't selfish with their time, wasn't clock watching, nothing like that, just pouring into him.
Yeah.
He was shut up like a sponge, and it was a privilege. But I understood first and foremost, if I didn't have experience, and he was watching me too, so he saw that I was getting down, that I'm not just some dude that just shows up and gets smashed. He saw I was putting the work too. So once he saw this guy has experience, I see he knows what he's talking about. I'm listening to him, and I'm seeing results from listening to him. At that point in time, I could have told him anything I wanted to. He was going to be right there soaking it up. Because I was willing to do that, because I was willing to open myself up to that and be available to him and pour into him. I'm not some old person that's, shitting on young people or criticizing whatever.
Right.
I was ready to do whatever I could to help this young brother get to the next step 2 weeks in.
That's G.
So I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if I'm going to see him again. I don't know if he's going to, pick it up and drop it in a few years. But I do know that on this particular Sunday afternoon, for at least quite some time, he's not going to forget this old head that took the time out of his day to pour into him when he didn't have to.
Real talk.
To teach stuff that worked. Not no janky bad information that got him jacked up, but stuff that actually was working, helping him out.
Right.
And I was able to see results from. Now, that's just my day-to-day life. That's just one day out of the year. That doesn't happen all the time. But when the opportunity was there, I was open and I seized it. We all have opportunities in our day-to-day life. There's something that we all are able to do that we have knowledge of or whatever. And there's people out there, old and young, that could sometimes need a hand, need a help, whatever. When you see the opportunity, don't always wait for the invitation.
Right.
If you see the opportunity, get to work. Handle business.
Go.
Set them on the path. No. Let me give you some game. Here's how you do it a little better. I see what you're doing. It makes sense. Try this way. And when people see that you're there to actually be a help, not just to criticize and just talk shit, because some people are good for that. But when they see you ready to roll up your hands, roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty and get in the mud, get in the paint with them, they're going to be a lot more responsive to that. They could be open to it, and you're raising the level of the room.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what's up.
Definitely. So, you know,
That's beautiful.
when we talk about people not, we talk about handling business. And I just wanted to share two things of 2 points of people not handling their business. So,
Sure.
one thing that I want to say is, fellas, we got to stop doing this. This isn't handling your business. When you go out in public, you're supposed to be presentable. Make sure you are your best self when you go out here. Stop letting people push you in a direction that make you look like a goofy. And I'm seeing this become a trend. And this shows me that you don't even have leadership, especially when it comes to your own damn barber. You're letting your barber do stuff to you, and you're not taking control of it. But I know sister she made a joke about it. But you fellas gotta stop doing this, right? When y'all go to the barber, right? And she says, when guys leave the barber shop thinking they looking fly as F, and they have the audacity to post it in their story. Dog, your barber uses powder to line you up correctly. All you got to do is just take a piece of the paper towel, spray it with the alcohol, and wipe that crap off. There's nothing trendy or that looks good about it. You look like a clown. Just like how these women put on clownish makeup, that's how you looking like when you run around here. The Beijing that looks faded on like somebody paintbrushed something on the side of a train in '82 in New York. Stop it. All the nonsense that you guys going on here, put your best foot forward, because a lot of times you guys are out here looking like the women y'all complain about. Get it together. Lead by example. Make sure that you out here being a man that looks like power, not a goofball that look like he got covered in powder. All right. So the next thing that I want to address is this clown. You go from one clown looking like a clown to actually talking about a clown. So
look at the
Uncle Mammy.
Look at the law.
So Mayor Lori Lightfoot goes down in history. You know, this is what Major was saying earlier. Major, I think it was you. I don't think it was Bobby. I think it was Major that said being the first Black person or the first this and the first that. That was you, Major, right?
That was actually Bobby.
Oh, that was Bobby. Okay.
It was Bobby,
so
yeah.
Bobby was saying, you know, tired of the first Black this and first Black. Remember, she was the first Black gay mayor up in Chicago. Is that what they pushed her as when she first got in?
Yeah.
The LGBT queen.
There, sure.
Yeah. So now you have Mayor Lori Lightfoot loses re-election bid, first time for the first term mayor in 40 years. So this is like the first time somebody actually lost re-election in 40 years. So why are you out here thinking that you out here doing something, you're accomplishing something, you're the first this and first that, and then you go through your term, and throughout your term, you weren't handling business.
Real talk.
And when you're not handling business, you get on the what? Chopping block. And she got chopped. Now, when she's out of this position, guess what? It goes back to the meme that I showed you. Nobody's gonna know who she is, regardless of when she initially came in as the first gay mayor. Fine, they knew that when you first got in, they parade about it, they celebrated it. But guess what? Your terms in office that you were in, you didn't get nothing done. So guess what? It's just like nobody's gonna know you because you didn't make anybody feel you. You didn't put in anything tangible to make somebody say, you know what, her office in her time in office was well spent. She did everything that she could do in that short time. So even if they didn't reelect her, they didn't reelect her because she was getting stuff done. You ain't getting nothing done and you got booted. That's a double whammy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because when black people get in office and they getting stuff done, they want to remove them quick before they get some real stuff done and get the ball rolling, and also be very inspirational and having others aspire to be like that black person for getting stuff done.
Right.
And she was not that. She got canned. So this is what we talk about. This is what the program is all about. This is what we was talking about and putting together, is about handling business.
Right.
When you're not handling business, people are watching you and they're observing you, and they don't want to even be like you. Just like the young son stated to his father, look, you moving janky. I don't want to be like somebody that's moving janky. You're going to handle business. You're going to handle business in all areas. You ain't going to half step.
Right. Yeah.
And it's the same thing. She was in the seat and ain't handled business and was acting real janky, and they got her ass up out of there. Nobody want to be a Lori Lightfoot. Nobody's going to grow up. Wow. No black woman, LGBT or not, is going to grow up to say, I want to be like Lori Lightfoot.
Right.
It's not going to happen. Right? So this is the importance of handling business. You guys want to speak on Lori Lightfoot?
My God, listen. Okay, so first let me go back to the first meme. With these dudes who be walking around here with these damn patent leather hairstyles. This patent leather shellacked on their head, looking stupid in all these lines, whatever. Shout out my barber, J-Ro Faded. J-Ro Faded, you can contact him at 918-841-8826. He'll get you together. You won't be out here looking stupid. This man is a magician. He's the best barber in the world as far as I'm concerned. He's a beast. You understand? And, you know, he can get you to the point where, you know, even if he does use a little bit of dye or whatever, it looks natural. It makes sense. It have you looking. He did my dad's. My dad is 70-something years old. You know what I'm saying? He had him looking great. He lined him up. See, I'm not. Some guys won't even tell you who their barber is. Oh, I ain't gonna get. Nah, man. I want y'all to be great. I don't want y'all to be out here looking stupid. And I want him to be great. I want him to get as much business as he can. You know, support black businesses. J-Ro Faded, the man is a beast. First off. And yeah, brothers, this not only applies to your hairline. This is hilarious. I'm looking at this. It's just hilarious. But because y'all do be looking like that, real talk. But it doesn't only apply to your hairline, man. A lot of us, man, our hygiene is off. Your tape might be on point, you know, but you know, you smell. You know, a lot of us we have odor, you know what I'm saying, and we don't check. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna tell you what, the same way we get out here and we talk about, you know, legitimate concerns that the men have when they're talking about the ladies. I'm gonna talk about some of the stuff that I hear, the legitimate concerns that ladies have when they're talking about the men. With a lot of us, not only that, our hygiene don't be up to par. We be smelling kind of funny style. You know what I'm saying? We still walking around here, you know, when we're grown ass men with our pants sagging, bro. Really? No. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not it. You know what I'm saying? We need to tighten up on that. You know, and I know a lot of brothers, good friends of mine, they sag, and I be telling them, bro, I actually had a few cats be like, hey, thank you, man. You know what I'm saying? You kind of put me up in the game. I needed to tighten up on that. I ain't going to put them out there in front of everybody, but I'm just putting it out there generally speaking. You know what I'm saying? Just certain things, the way we carry ourselves. I know a lot of cats. I was just talking to my wife earlier today. A lot of cats that I know that don't own a suit. Bro. God damn. I mean, like, if you 16, 17, 18, and you don't own a suit, okay, man, you 35, 42, 46, you don't own a suit, not one, you don't own a tie. You don't own a tie. Come on, brother, let's tighten that up. I was watching one of the OGs from back in the day, William D.C. Clark. Shout out to Brother Clark. He does a mentoring program down in the city where he teaches young boys how to become young men. That brother is doing phenomenal work. Okay, he ran for what? City commissioner, I think he ran for. Yeah. I'm not in his district. I live in Howard, so I couldn't vote for him, but I still posted up his stuff. I've known this guy since I was a kid. You know, he was someone that my grandmother really revered, and you know, he revered her, and you know, whatever. So there was a relationship there. He has an organization called I Am. Some very strong brothers that are doing some phenomenal work out here. But I said all that to say this. You know, I was watching his either IG or Facebook, and he posted up, you know, the suit and the ties, you know, the shoes that, you know, Anthony, I think you reposted it, you know, that he's going to be giving to the young brothers that he's mentoring coming, you know, coming out of his program, you know, teaching them in effect how to present yourself. Like you said, you know, there's a certain way you present yourself where you look like a professional that is ready to handle this, as opposed to you look like a overgrown ass boy. You feel me? It's a certain way you got to position yourselves out here, brothers. And I say that from a place of love. You know, I want to see y'all be successful. I want to see y'all become doctors and lawyers and engineers and all that shit. And it's a certain mentality that goes behind the way that you comport yourself to put yourself out there to be taken seriously, to get the type of consideration into those type of spaces, if that makes sense. And I know it does. Listen to me. I am telling you, this is what it is. You know, I'm a IT professional. My paper straight. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go into all the particulars, you know what I'm saying? But I got a head full of dreadlocks, man. I'm from Brown Sub. I got people right down there. I took my lady through the neighborhood the other day, not too far from where she grew up. You know, Brown Sub is a hood. You feel me? I'm not supposed to be here is my point. You know what I mean? To a lot of people anyway. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to, you know, have any type of success like that. Because a lot of kids that grew up in that same area, you know, they became statistics. But again, you know, the way you present yourself, the way you talk to people. When I go in an interview, I got the job. I know I got the job because I know how to talk. I know how to look, and I know how to interact. And that's something that we need to really, really master, you know, as young men, as young black men out here. So there's that. Okay. So now on to the second one. Can you bring it up one more time? Let me look at it one more time.
You talking about Miss Lori Lightfoot?
Yeah, Lori Lightfoot. Because I want to make sure I don't leave anything out. Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure I don't leave anything out. Lori Lightfoot and a bunch of other Democrat operatives and, you know, Democrat shills, you know, people who are just out here. They don't have anything that they really believe in. You understand what I'm saying? And Lori Lightfoot is a prime example of that. Lori Lightfoot doesn't believe in anything. She just does what the nice white people tell her to do. That's the long and short of it. You understand what I'm saying? She's there to, you know, give a face to this LGBT agenda that they're trying to promote and force on Black society, and to institute the policies of her corporate masters. She's a puppet. She's an empty suit, pun intended. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, now I'm at the point where when I hear the first black this, the first black that, the first black this coming from a bunch of white people, my antennas go up. I'm skeptical because they're not just putting this person there because they care so much about black people. You understand what I'm saying? They're capitalizing on identity politics. They know that black people like to see a black person get into a high position. And so therefore, you know, a lot of black people will probably vote for this person. You know what I'm saying? It's similar. There is nothing there other than that. Unfortunately, most of the time when you see a black person that's been handpicked by white politicians, particularly liberals, but also conservatives, they're not going to do anything for black people. You need to look for the black people who have the support of the grassroots. the black people who have the support of other black folks and have a proven track record of things for black people if you're going to support black candidates. Because Lori Lightfoot is bullshit. Just like Kamala Harris is bullshit. Just like Ketanji Brown is bullshit. These people aren't going to do anything for black society. You know what I mean? And we need to start realizing the trick bag. We need to start recognizing the trick bag when it comes to us. There's no reason Lori Lightfoot should have even gotten elected. You know, we need to learn how to start looking past, you know, the trivial value of some of these candidates as, oh, look, I got a Negro over here. You know, come vote for me. Look, I got a little negress over here. Nah, man. You know, it has to be more to it than that. Black people as a group, as a block, we need to start being more politically sophisticated and looking at the policies and the track records of these people that they give us, that, you know, they kind of just dangle their blackness in front of us. And then you turn right around, they do nothing for black people. She hasn't done anything for her city. Nothing. And that's why she's losing re-election, as she should. She's a whole joke. Go ahead, Aunt. I mean, I'm saying, you can bring it down. I just wanted to make
chime in on that. No, I hear you. No, you made some really great points. That's really great points.
All right, cool.
You know, when you have these figures, and this is true, this isn't just limited to politics. This is in a lot of different arenas and areas. But when you understand the concept of war, well, tie into the theme of the evening, handling business. When you talk about handling business, you understand that when you make it to high profile positions, when you reach a certain echelon, right?
Mm-hmm.
We understand, or at least on paper, we understand that there's a process. You know, you don't go from being the janitor to the CEO overnight. We have some stories about some people going from the janitor's closet to the 88th floor corner office with a giant window view overlooking the whole city. We do have stories about that out there, but we understand that that's a process. There's work. There's sacrifices. There's things that go in there. There's paying dues that goes into there. And for one reason or another, you do have some people who do catch breaks and opportunities sooner than others, and um, luck and blessings can play a role in that. But ultimately, the path is a path. There are no shortcuts. You might be able to take get off the highway one exit or two exits sooner than most, but for the most part, the path is the path. So when you have people that are able to make it to these elite levels and be seen at high levels, the question ultimately has to become, who sent you? How'd you get here? Because if we can't see the steps, if there's no ripples or rumbles or whispers or murmurs about you at the lower levels, the question is, well, there's a whole ton of people out here who are trying to do X, Y, Z, trying to be actors, trying to be politicians, trying to work for this corporation, trying to start this business. A whole ton of them out here.
Why you?
How is it that right? How is it that we know of this person over here who's been trying for years and never made no headway? How is it that they weren't able to get this position, but you were? We've never seen you before. Where you came from?
Shout out Barack Obama.
Got to watch out for these people that are just dropped off out of the ether, out of thin blue air from nowhere.
Yeah, real talk.
Who knows this person? Does the grassroots know this person?
Right.
Where'd you come up from? Where did you put in work from? Where did you build your reputation from? How is it that you were able to skip the line ahead of all these other people just to be able to get the opportunity, let alone to actually be able to seize it? Right. How that happened? And once you ask them questions, you start realizing that, there's a lot of things that should not be the way they are. There's a lot of people that should not be where they are. And that's when it becomes a whole lot more simple. Now, I'm not a Chicagoan, so I can't speak to Chicago politics or Chicago issues, whatever. I have folks over there in Chicago, but I myself am not from there, never been to Chicago before. don't know the lay of the land up there, so I can't speak with any authority on that. But my question from the get go is, Uncle Lightfoot, who sent you?
Real
Who
talk.
knew you in Chicago outside of just being a citizen that exists and lives and does whatever? Who knew Lori? What work
Right.
did she put in at the grassroots, at the streets level to secure the confidence of the people other than just, well, I'm black, I'm a woman, and I play for the other team?
Mm,
What other accolades did she have to her name besides that?
correct.
Yeah, I've studied her record. Absolutely nothing. Nothing.
Okay, and yet somehow here you are in the mayorship of this town, of this
Yeah.
city.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Mm,
Hmm.
No, there's nothing suspicious there. Don't trust your lying eyes or believe your lying ears. And it passes the sniff test, the taste test, all the other tests. No, nothing suspect here.
Hmm.
correct.
Yeah.
Check
It's a trick.
paperwork.
Yeah.
Correct.
Exactly. It's a trick bag. Heavy.
Straight up. Straight back. And like I say, we're coming to the closing of today's show. We hope it's a good show for you guys, and hope you guys can recommend this platform to other people because you guys love it. We get all the accolades and the feedback that everybody loves this. This is one of the hottest shows they got out right now that you guys are
Hmm.
giving us mad props for, and we're so humbly and gracefully accepting it. And I just want to point out a couple people before we get into the queen check of the night. Um,
Yeah.
want to check my brother right here. My brother Anthony Mackie has purchased 20 acres in New Orleans East, where he plans to start a movie studio. When you out
Okay.
here handling business, this
Hmm.
and Anthony Mackie is one of my top rated actors out here, man. Every movie he touches, he always draws me into the character that he's in because he's such a powerful character. He's been
Hmm.
doing phenomenal work out here, and I think he knows that because he plays a lot of roles in movies that are very substantial and have great meaning behind it. And I think
Hmm.
him starting this movie studio, I think would be actually more beneficial to the black community than the Tyler
Hmm.
Perry studio. I know Tyler
Okay.
Perry hires black people, but yet the shows he's putting out, it just keeps us going on the hamster wheel of the stereotypical black exploitated narratives that really don't
Hmm.
help our community because it doesn't give us any positive uh, light that makes us want to go out there to be the superior and powerful people that we are. But I think Anthony Mackie, if he brings this studio to life, I believe he will have more powerful films coming out there with more meaning and shedding us into more powerful light of powerful people that we are. So I'm really looking forward to this.
Okay.
I think it was a great power move, and I'm hoping that it's being used for what I think is going to be used for. And if it is, man, this is a brother out here handling business, man. Shout out to Anthony
Hmm.
Mackie for that.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Shout out.
Big.
another,
I
It's a
love
big
the
deal.
work on Alpha. It was really
yes.
good.
So Miami Gardens, as you guys know, I'm about 30 minutes from Miami Gardens. I don't know how far you guys are from Miami Gardens.
Right up the
Um,
street.
Miami Gardens to me, I tell people all the time, is the most powerful black community in South Florida. Um, the representation that they have over there, they don't have no Lori Lightfoots. I
Hmm.
do have interviews that a couple of um, the leadership, the powerful leadership that's in office now, they have
Hmm.
granted me um, what do you call it, to do interviews with them. So I'm gonna definitely set that up and see if we can bring them on the show and let them voice their opinions and what they've been doing and why what they do is so important for not
Hmm.
only the community and our people, but also for just the impression of a black leaders, black males that's in office that are running it in an unapologetic manner and been doing phenomenal things lately, man. The stuff that they got going on for their community, man, with the leadership of Reggie Leon and Councilman Stevenson over there, doing a phenomenal job. And you know, we had Oliver Gilbert that was over there, and now is the commissioner of Miami. So we have so many people that have built Miami Gardens. And before Oliver got in there, you know, the lady that was there, the first, oh gosh, I can't even remember her name, but the first mayor that was out there, she established a lot of that. And because her representation of the leadership she did, and it just trickled down to Oliver, and now it trickled down to Reggie and Stevenson and all these other people that's doing phenomenal job over there in Carol City, man. And like I tell
That's
people
what's
all the
up.
time, you guys got to keep you got to keep your head on the swivel, because they're coming for anything that's great in Black society. They're going to come for it, and
Mhm.
they're going to target Miami Gardens. And I know they got a lot of Hispanics that are slowly moving into the area, setting up for it. And we got to watch out for that, because we got to protect Miami Gardens. The way these guys are doing so much things for the residents. They're protecting our elders. They're protecting everybody that they're protecting everybody that is in their community, and they're doing it. They gave out trees, they give out groceries. You know, they've been doing so many resourceful things for our community, our Black people, and we need that, especially during this time and era. And so,
Mhm.
Miami Gardens, what they have done is Walt Frazier. They changed the name of Carol City Park to Walt Frazier Park, which is Walt Frazier is a
Yeah.
legendary Carol City coach that has done phenomenal
Mhm.
things, and globally he's recognized as the top 12 coach of all time, and that says a lot, you know.
That's great.
Um,
It does.
yes, phenomenal. He's done a phenomenal job. He's done things where you know, he's won state champions, chips. He has football players that have ranged into the NFL. You know, we know Santana Moss and even Sonoris Moss. You know, the Moss
Mhm.
brothers have been in the NFL. You know, they also Rick Ross was
Mhm.
also played on Carol City team. William Roberts, he's a former all-day lineman, but you guys know him better as Rick Ross, that
Mhm.
also played for Coach Frazier as well. He promoted so many
All right.
children, and at the same time, he also had, you know, become that mentor, because a lot of people don't understand that coaches automatically are sometimes mentors. Good coaches are mentors to these
Oh yeah.
young children, that some of them are raised in single family households, and it's such an important part of our community is these coaches, because a lot of them have these children lives for majority part of their living, because they're always in some kind of sport. So if they're running track, they're always in football or whatever it is. So any athletic department it is, you're going to have contact with Coach Frazier, and he has made a legendary impact on and off the field. And I was just so proud that they switched to Carol City Park to Walt Frazier Park, and that's something that he held his head high on, is just being that person. And what we was talking about earlier about how you impact people, that's how you remember you. So, you know, people, they felt his presence. They could count on Mr. Frazier. They can know that he was there in their corner. You know what I'm saying? So it was so many things that he did to make them better. That's how you leave a legacy and end up putting your name and your family's name to be broadcast on something that is a monumental part that will forever be there, even after you have transitioned on. Now, Mr. Walt Frazier, he retired, but he's still here to get the roses, and is still here to receive all the accolades and the acknowledgments. So even when he does transition, at least he knows that he see his name branded on a part that eventually be appreciated from generations on and on. So shout out to Walt Frazier for doing
And that's dope
what
as
he
hell.
has done, and that is so super dope. So we now come into tonight's Queen Check, right? So our favorite part of the show, where we go ahead and
Crown check, crown check.
Crown check. So this is our favorite part of the show where we, show our love and support to wonderful sisters that are doing phenomenal work and pushing our culture and our community forward. And a lot of times we have been showing you pictures and stories of phenomenal women that they don't put in the public eye. They don't promote like that. So this is one of the dopest things that I hear on Manifestations. A lot of people have been hitting me up and was like, yo, I don't know a lot of these women and I didn't even know they do all of these phenomenal things. And that's why it's very important for you guys to continue following us and listening to our shows, because, we pack so much gems in all areas and aspects. And even, just having people to acknowledge this segment, it just shows a lot that, what we're doing is beneficial to not only ourselves, but our community. And we love it. So with no further ado, I am going to put up a picture of, hold up now. So let me get the picture together. Boom. All right. So if you guys don't know, this is C. Vivian Stringer. She was the head coach of the HBCU basketball team called Cheney State. She was the head of Cheney State basketball team, which was a basketball team that made a legendary splash in the NCAA basketball, where this was the first time a HBCU college has ever been to the finals. They didn't win the finals, but they went to the finals. They went. She led them to I think it was a 40-1 streak victory. I forgot what the streak that they had, but she had a phenomenal streak that they were on. But they went all the way to the state. They went to the finals of the NCAA. So they knocked off a lot of the big schools, which was the Alabama and I forgot what those other schools that they had rival with as well. But it was top-notch schools. This wasn't the regular everyday schools. These were powerhouse schools that they went against. And what was so incredible, this sister, C. Vivian Stringer, she started off as a teacher. She wasn't even a athletic coach. She started off a teacher, and she just dreamt that she wanted to coach the basketball team, and they gave her an opportunity, and she led these women to a heroic and legendary run that will forever be in the history books. And this sister was so good at what she did that overall she's the first Black coach to hit over 1,000 career wins. And I think she was the first. I'm not sure if she was the first woman to hit it, but I know she was up there with Pat. They always talk about Pat Summitt. All our Black people talk about Pat Summitt, who was the head legendary coach of the Tennessee school. And but nobody talks about Stringer, Vivian Stringer, which she was actually more powerful than Pat Summitt, because she had to deal with an HBCU who was depleted with resources and didn't have all of the luxuries and all of the staff and just to compete on that high level with powerhouse schools that supply their children with all type of things that had promotions and was backed up by funding. And for this small school, HBCU, to come in and make such of a noise and went on the headlines and carried it to another level was just phenomenal. So here's a picture of all the women that were on the team, and they were talking about how you guys got to check out the documentary. There's a documentary on YouTube that you guys could check out. It's about 10, 12 minutes long. And yo, it's such a dope documentary because the sisters was out there. It was like, yo, we was rocking the fros, man, and people was looking at us like it was crazy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And them sisters just putting in work. When I said them sisters were putting in work, y'all go look at their highlight shots, man. These sisters was knocking it down like Jordan, you know.
That's
yeah, and they just suffered a bad loss to Louisiana State in the finals. Otherwise, they would have been there. They would have made serious history because they would have knocked off all the powerhouse schools as an HBCUs to win the state title, but they fell a little short. And what was so crazy is, you know, during that time, you know, still suffering with racism and people not accepting Black excellence, that in the Final Four, they were Cheney State was part of the Final Four, and guess what they did? They had pictures of 3 of the representatives of their teams.
Wow.
And they did not even put Cheney State any woman on there. So they made, if it's a Final Four, normally when it's Final Fours, it's really 4 teams, and they showed only 3 women. That's how racist they were and segregated that they didn't even want to acknowledge Cheney State in the lineup of that. And so on the finalist shirts, these are shirts I'm pretty sure are collector's items now because of what transpired. And it just shows you that they got left out on purpose, and it was very disrespectful. But just goes to show you what these black women went through and what a coach go through and the motivation that they had. And I really wish they had enough edge to knock off the #1 seed, which I think they lost by like 6 points or 8 points in the finals. But I wish they had enough because this type of disrespect needed to be capitalized with a huge win. But regardless of what it was, just Miss Vivian Stringer herself and what she has done with a person that had no knowledge, not being groomed into athletics, to lead not only the Cheney State women to a legendary run, but also to go on to 2 other powerhouse schools and rack up over 1,000 wins, plus also winning championships with other teams as well. So shout out to Vivian Stringer and all the work she has done for our people, our community, and it's just legendary what she was able to pull off, and just how much inspiration and how many women aspire to be like that. And we see that now. We have black women. There's a black woman right now that is doing her thing, and I think she's getting publicized for wearing heels. You know, very gorgeous woman, but she's wearing heels on the side of the sidelines, and I think you know, and all the recognition that she's getting. But you know, Vivian Stringer paved the way for black coaches to be on that sideline to get the recognition and the playing time as well. So we definitely want to give it up this week to Vivian Stringer for everything she has done. And you guys, like I said, you guys check out the documentary. It's a very powerful documentary, and they go into details of what they went through, and it's just an incredible story. So that's what I have for you guys this week, and I appreciate everybody that tuned in. And
shout out to
thank you guys so much for supporting us. No, go ahead, Major. I'm done.
No, I was just saying shout out to Sister C. Vivian Stringer. I just want to bring to everybody's attention on that shirt, the dates on there were March 26th through the 28th, 1982.
Correct.
So, FYI, black people were still experiencing this type of racism almost 20 years after the civil rights movement concluded. And I mean, still today sometimes, but that type of blatant, you know, I don't think that would be tolerated today. You know, but I mean, they felt so comfortable doing it in 1982. You know what I mean?
Correct.
But that is phenomenal.
Correct.
What that sister pulled off. You said the run was like 40-1. Wow.
I believe it was carried on from the last season into that season. So they were on that. Yeah. It was a large margin run that they were on. Yeah, correct.
And mind, if I'm not mistaken, that shirt is supposed to say the Final Four. And
right.
For the fourth.
Exactly.
Right.
They left the fourth team off, and even by their standards, they couldn't be that ridiculous and call it the Final Four and have three teams there. So they up
Right.
and changed the whole merchandise to say the
Right.
finalist.
Correct.
That's just
Just
how dedicated to white
they are to
supremacy
white
and
supremacy. hmm
nonsense that they were. Throw the branding off, throw the advertising off, period, just because of that's
Insanity.
okay.
That shit is that's the level of dedication to white supremacy, bro. That's what it is.
The
You know what I
details,
mean?
the details.
Yep.
Nothing beneath them. Nothing is too little or too obscure. Even the
Yeah.
damn basketball tournament.
hmm
Correct. Correct.
Real
So, like
talk.
I said, this is
All levels.
all parts of handling business. This is why we got to go out here and handle business, because we understand the traps that are out here. We understand the agendas out here. We understand the pushback that we get from the dominant society as people that are considered non-white. So we got to make sure that when we're handling business and doing what we're doing, we essentially put up a big fort that can withstand all of this stuff that is aimed against us. So once we are handling business, we're more equipped to going out here and fighting systematic racism and being in a powerful way to knock that down and knock it out of our way. And it's very important for us to understand that it builds back the community when we have this unapologetic and mentality of also handling business with it. It comes in to a code of conduct that we have that all ties in together to make us more powerful than we once were before. So understand that what we do here is to educate us in the best form so that way we can be out here and be successful. Because I'm not around you 24/7. None of us are around you 24/7. But if we give you enough gems and we give you all the information to equip yourself, you can go out here and protect your family in the right way. So even when we're not around you, you still have all the tools to know what you need to do in order for you to be successful, as well as everybody in your household, from your maid down to your children. And that's what I have for you this week. Guys, tune in next week, but I'm going to let my fellow intelligent brothers close it out with their final says as well.
For me, it's real simple, man. Everything he just said, of course, you know what I'm saying, handle your business, fellas. You know, handle business, be serious, be deliberate, be perseverant, and you know, conclude, finish it, you know, finish things off, get things done, see things through to fruition. You know, I think that will be my biggest takeaway from this, and eliminate distractions, because distractions will have you meandering, you know, about with no destination, man. You know what I mean? Knock stuff out and be deliberate. Um, I really want to encourage everybody to go out and watch and support our brother Chris Rock. Oh my God, he did a phenomenal piece of work with his new comedy special. Man, he is lighting people up, bro. Like, it is for real. You know, a lot of the stuff that we talk about on here, he's talking about on there. In fact, I'm gonna, you know, watch it a little more and kind of study it a bit. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but
That's
y'all
about to come out
really,
soon.
I watched some of it.
Selective
No,
outrage.
I watched the whole thing. I like bits and pieces of it. And you know what it kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of Dave Chappelle, and I don't like to compare people, but Dave Chappelle and what Chris Rock did. I think he took some of the formula of what Dave Chappelle was doing, because right now Dave Chappelle's hot. But it kind of
Yeah.
reminded me of the Bee and the Wasp, right? So you got Dave
Okay.
Chappelle more of the Bee, and Chris Rock more of the Wasp. I did like a lot of things he did say in there. Some things, you know, who Chris Rock is and how he rolls, and too fond with that, but I understand where he was coming with it from majority. So I give it a clean
Yeah.
pass. It wasn't something that I would rave about as far as coming from Chris Rock, but I do see that
Yeah.
he did take his time. I don't know if the slap knock some sense in them. But I want to see
Mm,
more of what it is, and not be like motivated based on the whole Will Smith thing. So I want to see
yeah.
if his content increases from this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
It's a good start from him. I ain't gonna lie, it's a
I
good
get
start.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah. It was the thing is Chris Rock used to be this guy. Before Chappelle was
yeah,
this guy, Chris Rock was this guy. Chris Rock used to be my favorite comedian. And then he
hmm,
started watering his shit down and trying to appease too many people. And that's when,
yeah,
I started really getting more into Chappelle. But he's kind of back to his old self now. And just some of the stuff,
hmm.
that I really appreciated that he talked about. He talked about the addiction to social media.
Correct, correct, correct.
And that's what it is at the end of the day, the
Yeah,
That's
addiction to
interesting right there.
attention,
yeah,
the
yeah.
addiction to attention that we have in our society here.
Hmm.
He talked about the type of things that people do. I think it was showing their ass and become a victim. I mean, he just had it laid
Yeah,
out how these jackasses out here that we see literally every day
yeah,
get this attention, and they're always doing something stupid and coonish because they thank you, Quita. Quita says great show tonight. Because they they have an addiction to attention. I thought
yeah,
that was because nobody's really coming out saying it that plainly. He also talked about, some of us who are passing, and our ignorance to white supremacy. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
our lack of acknowledging what white supremacy is, where we walk right into the damn Klan headquarters and don't even know that that's where we are. I
yeah,
thought
yeah,
that just the way he set these things up was so profound.
Some of the
yeah,
outrage I've been hearing makes sense now.
yeah,
You see what I'm saying? We constantly talk about these things, but man,
yeah,
the way he laid that shit out was masterful. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Because I mean, yo, yeah, yeah, you got to kind of hold yourself accountable. He talked about
yeah.
accountability.
Yes, he
Okay,
did.
like
Ooh,
all the shit we
Yes.
so he
talk
was so he
about,
was cussing then.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah,
So, so he was
What you say
using
about?
profanity then. He was cussing then. He was using profanity then.
Oh my God, my sweet baby Jesus. Yeah, he was using a little
Can't
profanity,
do with that. Use
but
a word. Ooh.
oh my God,
yeah,
when you hear it, oh man, he went to town, man. He really laid it out very masterfully and very strategically. You know
yeah.
what I
And
mean?
he also touched on the part where we see a lot of people like this. I've known people like this
Mm.
that will bully somebody that they know they could bully, but when the
Yes,
bully comes to them, they're very quiet. So he talks about that with Will
yes.
Smith. Um,
Hmm. That
and
was some bitch
I
ass shit
thought,
Will Smith did. I'm sorry.
yeah,
And
I thought,
today you have these people on Shade Room with their fake outrage, selective outrage, just like he said. They want to go clutching their pearls. Oh, he attacked the black women. Dude, he
yeah,
made jokes about two black women. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I thought they were rather mild, but he did not
yeah,
attack black women as a group. And see, this is the bullshit he's talking about. You understand what I'm
yeah,
saying? And you've seen people try to do this to us. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? No, that's not what's happening. But they
Hmm.
think if they keep telling the same lie over and over again, people start believing it. And I just appreciate the way that
Well,
he called a lot of people out on their bullshit. I really,
Yeah,
really do. We need more of that. We
yeah.
need 10
It
black men
was
out
it
there
was
like
good.
that. It was
I ain't
good,
gonna lie,
except
it was good.
besides Rock and Chappelle, we need more guys out there being
Yeah,
unapologetically truthful.
exactly.
Yeah,
I think so too.
yeah.
Yes, definitely. Go ahead, Bobby.
no, I don't want to say too much in addition. Excellent topic. I love the topic. I love the conversation. I love the points that you brothers brought forth as always. That's why I love doing the show with you guys.
Hmm.
I love our team. I love what we do, and not just blowing smoke up our asses, but legitimately. I love the
Mhm.
substance that comes out of all you guys. I love being able to teach you guys and our listeners. I like being taught by you guys as well too. Always getting put up on game with you all.
Yeah, likewise.
Yes.
The one thing
Yes.
I want to leave behind is because, and it was kind of I wanted to introduce it at some point. but I figured it probably best as a closing note. The whole idea of handling for me, handling business is one of those things that's just it's just a standard item on the checklist at the top of the checklist when it comes to manhood. And myself as well, just growing up, I was always looking for examples of manhood just from a subconscious level because I knew it was something that I needed. A lot like the young brother from the video who's checking his father.
Mm,
And so that's something that's never left me. Even to this day, I'm always looking for examples of what I find to be principles that uphold manhood and, like a compass to help steer you to keep you in that direction because iron sharpens iron.
yeah.
So one of my favorite TV shows, what's on my GOAT list, was Sons of Anarchy. I love that show to death. I hated when it ended. All good things got to come to an end, but
Mm,
I just love the show so much. I hated when it ended. But one of the things that I appreciated the most about the show was how, through my lens, it was always a constant examination of manhood based on the main character of the show, Jax Teller. Without getting into the details, if anyone wants some binge material, Sons of Anarchy easily should be in anybody's top five shows.
Mm.
Basically, the premise is this leader of this motorcycle club and the mother charter of this motorcycle club, the Sons of Anarchy. He basically comes into leadership of the club after his father, who was the founder of the club, dies, and he starts learning a bunch of things. Everything from around everything stemming from the suspicious nature of his father's death, the direction of the club, what the original vision was, where it's going, dealing with his own family issues and everything else, and all the different things that come with leadership and manhood and being a husband, being a father, and everything else. And so there's always a constant with all the other stuff going on in the show. There's also this introspection of him throughout the show where he's examining himself as a man. And one of the things that I liked most, one of those little subtle touches that I loved most about the show was throughout some parts for the narration, there's a journal that he's keeping of thoughts that he's leaving to his that he ultimately plans to leave to his son, which is a good thing for men to do, by the way. If you
yeah.
really want to talk about really leaving a game to your children, really giving them something that they can feed off of in the years to come that can benefit them and even your children in life. Um, think about leaving a journal just on your ideas, your thoughts. It doesn't have to be structured, but just your words, and you'll be surprised how powerful that can be to your kids. And you don't have to have kids to do it either. You don't have to be booed up. You don't have to have a wife or a girlfriend. You can do this as a man right now tonight. Just start
Mm,
recording your thoughts on a substantial, and make it something meaningful. If you're gonna do this, don't get a little flimsy ass little dollar store composite. Nah, go ahead and go to Barnes and Nobles or go on Amazon. Get you one of those old school leather bound things. That
damn.
stuff that's
Yeah.
like the family heirloom Bibles. You can pass it down in history. Your great great grandkids can look at it. It's gonna hold up. But do that, and you'll be surprised what a comfort, especially when you're no longer there. You'll be surprised
Mm,
what a comfort it is to know that your kids can go and they still have dad's words, grandpa's words, great grandpa's words that they can refer to and get that wisdom from you anytime they need it.
I love it.
But there was one episode where he wrote this little entry, and I still remember to this day because it was just so powerful. It grabbed me by the gut, and I was just soaked about it. And this day I never forget. I stored it in a couple places, so I'll never lose it. But he wrote this entry, and he said, "There will be days when you're forced to make decisions that affect the lives of everyone you love. Choices that will change you forever. You reach an age where you realize that being a man isn't about respect or strength. It's about being aware of all the things that you touch. Children face inward and wallow in their own selfish needs. Men face out and take action on the needs of others. I'm at that place, boys. I'm staring one of those decisions in the face, and it looks back at me with historical eyes, and it calls me a coward, a killer, and a fraud. It wants me to crack and run from the service of my fate like a broken boy. Today I will not do that. Today I will be the man my father tried to be. I will make you proud." And I'm sitting there like, damn, what a powerful thing it is to give to your son, to put in your son's
Thank.
lap,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm.
That's the stuff
Mm-hmm.
that makes hair grow in your chest. It,
That's
it,
some
it makes
shit
the
right
beard
there.
come in a little full. It makes your mustache get full. That right there puts you in the driver's seat of manhood. So that's just what I
That's
want to
the
leave, just the idea of handling business, not running
yes.
from the past, but dealing with the past, resolving those issues so that the future can be a whole lot better than where you came from. That's all I want to leave in your laps.
I
That's
say
what's up. That's powerful. Ashe, Ashe.
that's powerful.
Definitely. Man, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like I say, we have humbly received all the great comments and all the great support we've had. It's only going to get better, bigger and better from here on out.
Mm.
And like I say, just tune in with us each and every Sunday at 8 o'clock, and we in here. If we do start a little late, just know it's a little technical difficulty, but we're coming on. So with that being said, next week we're gonna have another dynamic, explosive show for you guys. Don't know, I might get a little controversial with next week's show. I'll see.
Mm.
But
All right.
definitely,
Mm.
you guys, thank you so much, and we appreciate you. And we'll see you guys next week. All right.
Yeah.
Be easy. Peace.
Hey.
Blessings.
All right.
On the album, we do things like songs that are a little, what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.